and it is been honored in the name of former principal of Karimganj College, Sri Pramesh Chandra Bhattacharya. In these sessions, we have 11 papers, some will be online and some will be offline. But before that, let me introduce among yourself. We have our resource person from this Mumbai, Professor Shamakti Guhu. So I will request Professor Shamakti Guhu, please come over the dais. Professor Shamakti Guho, first of all, will deliver a speech and then we'll start our technical session. I will now request Sweetie and her friend to felicitate our today's resource person, Professor Shamakti Guho. It is Victoria, speech and a gift. Token gift. Thank you, ma'am. I may now request Tarulata Pegu to introduce Shamakti Guho ma'am among the August Gathering.
A very warm good morning to all. So we are privileged to have Dr. Shamakti Gupta amidst us. So Dr. Shamakti Gupta is working as a professor at the Center for Social Entrepreneurship, School of Management and Labor Studies, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. She is a development economist and has done her PhD in economics from Jadavpur University in 2004. After her PhD, she worked in Indian Institute of Direct Studies, New Delhi, and Institute of Rural Management, Anand, Gujarat. In 2006, she was selected as Sir Ratan Tata Fellow at the London School of Economics and Political Science, UK, for her postdoctoral study. In 2007, she has joined Tata Institute of Social Sciences and launched a new MA program in social entrepreneurship and has run the center single-handedly for 3 years. She, along with her colleague, Professor Satyajit Majumdar, set up Social Incubation Center at the Center for Social Entrepreneurship, School of Management and Labor Studies, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, supported by UGC in 2011. She has mentored more than 50 social startups. Her area of research are microfinance, women entrepreneurship, micro enterprises, social entrepreneurship, financial inclusion, and development economics. She has published articles in many national and international journals and books. She has attended and presented articles in several national and international conferences. So thank you, ma'am, for being with us.
Thank you, Tarulata Pegu. Now, without wasting time, we will be over to Shamakti Guho ma'am to listen our speech.
Thank you for a very big introduction, and I appreciate your all effort to conduct this kind of seminar. Yeah. Okay. So I'm very thankful to the organization team and Dr. Das to give me this opportunity to present whatever we are doing for last 10, 11 years. So yesterday, lot of people, who are on the dais, they talk about entrepreneurship, venture creation, এবং বললেন যে কারা কারা এন্টারপ্রাইজ বানাবে, ভেঞ্চার বানাবে, রাইট? তো আমার এই টকটা অনেক কিছু বলা থাকবে যে কোনো একটা জায়গায় যদি ইনকিউবেশন বানাতে হয় কিভাবে বানাবো, কেন বানাবো, আর কেনই বা এন্টারপ্রেনিউরশিপ যখন আমাদের এত বড় ইনফর্মাল সেক্টর, 93% people are in the informal sector. And so wage employment থেকে এখন সেলফ এমপ্লয়মেন্টের ব্যাপারটা বেশি দাঁড়িয়ে যাচ্ছে ইম্পর্টেন্স, তাই না? তো আজকে আমি এই ইকোসিস্টেম বা রোল অফ ইনকিউবেশন নিয়ে কথা বলবো, দু চারটে কথা। The slide is not going to change. It's not taking place. It is not changing. I think you will have control. Yes. The first thing I want to say, because a lot of you are students of commerce and economics, right? So how entrepreneurship and economic growth are correlated. So, ma'am, it's not. তো entrepreneurship আমরা সবাই জানি, যখনই প্রোডাকশন থিওরি পড়তে যাই, যে ইটস অ্যান ইম্পর্টেন্ট ফ্যাক্টর অফ প্রোডাকশন, রাইট? সো আরো একটা জিনিস আমরা দেখি যে এই যে কালকে যেমন বলছিলেন যে গুজরাটি, সিন্ধ্রিজ এন্ড মহারাষ্ট্রতে এত কিছু হচ্ছে, যে কোনো রিজিয়নের ডেভেলপমেন্ট অলসো ডিপেন্ড অন what kind of entrepreneurship ecosystem is there. যেমন বোম্বেতে যখন বাচ্চারা 18 বছর বয়স হয়ে যায়, তারা সকলে পার্ট টাইম কিছু না কিছু শুরু করে। তার মধ্যে অনেকেই ছোট ছোট ছোটখাটো বিজনেসও শুরু করে দেয়। হ্যাঁ, কেন? তারা দেখেছে যে সেখানে অনেক তাদের বড় দাদা দিদি entrepreneurship শুরু করে দিয়েছিল, তাই না? তো এটা একটা দেখবে যে entrepreneurial ecosystem যে রিজিয়নে আছে, সেখানে রিজিয়নাল ডেভেলপমেন্টটা খুব পপুলার হয়, প্রমিনেন্ট হয়। So because it creates jobs, improve living standards, lot of opportunity also comes along with the entrepreneurship creation, and it has potential to reverse the vicious cycle of poverty. Vicious cycle of poverty we all know, right? Low production, low income, low investment, low productivity, again low income, right? So economic growth যখন আমরা মেজার করি পার ক্যাপিটা জিডিপি অর জিএনপি, আমরা দেখি যে যদি আমরা হাই ইনকাম থাকে যে দেশের, সেখানে দেখবে হাই ইনভেস্টমেন্ট হয়, হাই প্রোডাক্টিভিটি হয়, তাহলে and high GDP per capita means higher tax revenues for the government, তো সেখানে অনেক কিছু ডেভেলপ করার মতো রিসোর্স থাকে। Now, high productivity can be increased by fostering entrepreneurship. এই entrepreneurshipটাকে যদি আমরা একটুখানি ছোট বাচ্চা যারা তোমরা আছো, তাদের যদি একটা সাপোর্ট সিস্টেম থাকে, যদি তোমরা এন্টারপ্রাইজ ক্রিয়েট করতে পারো, সেখানে আমরা এই সাইকেলটাকে রিভার্স করে উঠতে পারি। So it also has potential to contribute to the regional development. It is not only the money earning. Entrepreneurship and business এর মধ্যে অনেকটা তফাৎ আছে। Entrepreneurship is a process. তুমি বিজনেস না করেও এন্টারপ্রেনিউরিয়াল হতে পারো। এই যে কলেজের টিচাররা সব জায়গা থেকে লোককে ডেকে এনে এই যে কনফারেন্সটা করছে, দে আর ভেরি এন্টারপ্রেনিউরিয়াল, দে হ্যাভ লট অফ নলেজ, রাইট? কে কোথায় কাজ করছে, কি ভালো তোমাদের জন্য দেয়া যেতে পারে। সো এন্টারপ্রেনিউরশিপ ইজ আ process of new creation, process of innovation, rather than it also creates business, but business is সব নয়। এবার এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ ডেভেলপ করতে গেলে আমাদের কি কি চাই? প্রথমত চাই যে এন্টারপ্রেনার্স যারা হবে তাদের তো এডুকেশনটা মাস্ট, তাই না? কারণ বাজারে গিয়ে কথা বলতে হবে, ক্যালকুলেট করতে হবে, কি প্রাইস কোট করবে, তাদের তোমরা রিসার্চ করতে। কালকে that entrepreneur also told you research. research not only about the paper লিখনা, research about কোন মার্কেটে গিয়ে তুমি জিনিসটা বেচবে, কি জিনিস তুমি তৈরি করবে, কি কিসের জন্য ডিমান্ড আছে, এইগুলো। সো এরপরে আমরা এডুকেশনের সাথে সাথে আমরা দেখি যে যারা এন্টারপ্রেনার হলো তাদের অনেক ফ্যামিলি সাপোর্টও থাকে। ফ্যামিলি সাপোর্ট খালি মানি, ইন টার্মস অফ মানি না, ইন টার্মস অফ নন ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল অলসো, যে তুমি যা চাইছো তোমাকে করতে দেওয়া হচ্ছে, দ্যাটস আ হিউজ সাপোর্ট। এন্ড দেন স্টেট গভর্নমেন্ট, সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্ট, এদেরও অনেক রকম সাপোর্ট থাকে। যেমন পলিসি গুলো দেখো, এমএসএমই পলিসি গুলো দেখো। এবার আমাদের যেটা মুশকিল হচ্ছে এখানে এডুকেশনটা ল্যাক হয়, এবং তারপরে ওইখানে ফ্যামিলি সাপোর্টটাও ল্যাক হয়, কারণ ফ্যামিলির সবাই সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্ট এমপ্লয়ি অর স্টেট গভর্নমেন্ট এমপ্লয়ি, ওদের ওই রাস্তাটাই জানা আছে, বাকি রাস্তা জানা নেই। সুতরাং দেয়ার ওভার প্রোটেক্টিভ হয়ে যায়, যে এটা করতে যেও না, তোমার ফেলিয়ার হবে, রাইট, ফিয়ার অফ ফেলিয়ার। And also incubation center and ecosystem, there are several mentor যারা তোমাদের বিজনেসটা কি করে মডেলটা ডেভেলপ করতে হবে সেটা শেখাবে, কিভাবে কার কাছে অ্যাপ্রোচ করতে হবে, কে তোমাদের ফাইনান্স কোথা থেকে পাবে, এই যে ব্যাপারগুলো এটা একটা জায়গায় গেলে পাওয়া যায়, সেটা হচ্ছে ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার, সেটাকে আমরা ইকোসিস্টেম বলবো। সো আমি একদম সময় নষ্ট না করে আমি ফোকাস করব ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টারের সিস্টেমের উপরে, হাউ উই ইট এন্ড কেন আমরা করব। সো ইকোসিস্টেম বলতে একটা আর্টিকেলে যেখানে টাটা, ফারিয়াস আর শুক্লা তারা বলেছে যে যেখানে চারটে স্টেজ আছে। ইন দ্য ফার্স্ট স্টেজ seed is shown by whom? By maximum দেখবে তোমরা এটা একাডেমিক ইনস্টিটিউশন করে, কিভাবে ইউথদের একটা সেল, এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ সেল খুলে দেওয়া হলো কলেজ, বা বিজনেস প্ল্যান কম্পিটিশন করা হলো, ঠিক আছে। সো যারা ইন্টারেস্টেড, those who have ideas, they can also go for all these things. Stage 2 যেখানে একাডেমিক প্রোগ্রামস আছে, এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ প্রোগ্রামস হয়, যেমন মাস্টার্স কোর্স ইন এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ এন্ড বিজনেস, মাস্টার্স কোর্স ইন সোশ্যাল এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ, সেখানে একাডেমিক প্রোগ্রামস, নন একাডেমিক প্রোগ্রামসও হয়, যেখানে দেখবে ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টারস অলসো ফ্লোটেড লট অফ ট্রেনিং প্রোগ্রামস। থার্ড স্টেজে হচ্ছে আর্লি সাপোর্টার্স। এবার যখন তোমাদের কাছে কিছু পয়সা থাকবে না, অল্প একটু পয়সা আছে, তোমরা কি করবে, নয় মা বাবা নয় সব ফিলান্থ্রপিস্টদের কাছ থেকে টাকাটা তুলবে, তাই তো। সেরকম অনেক সময় এনজিওরা, বেশ কিছু এনজিও ওই আর্লি স্টেজ স্টার্টআপদের টাকা দেয় এবং ফান্ডিং করে। আর এঞ্জেল ইনভেস্টরস আছে, এখন তো অনেক রকম প্ল্যাটফর্মস হয়েছে, ইউ অল নো দ্যাট দেয়ার আর লট অফ মিটআপ, এই সমস্ত ক্রাউড ফান্ডিং প্ল্যাটফর্ম where you can give your story and people from different corners, they are also giving money to this platform. So এইভাবে করেও হয়। And fourth stage is that seriously entrepreneurship করছে বা startups. So there investor, funders, grant makers, and also big hub, they are also helping. Now support system in emerging ecosystem, কি support পাওয়া যায়। Yesterday lot of people talk about the technology. In case of India, now presently, Department of Science and Technology, they also have a small incubation centers. They fund the technology-based incubation center, and also they work with the the Department of Biotechnology. They also work with the innovators, and so they give the technical support startup থেকে scale up করার জন্য, human resource management also they give, marketing inputs also they give, then network support, এই যে সেমিনারস গুলো, এখানে ধরো 2-3 জন ইনভেস্টর যদি বসে থাকে, হ্যাঁ, তখন কেউ বিজনেস প্ল্যান প্রেজেন্ট করছে বা আইডিয়া প্রেজেন্ট করছে, সেইখানে ওটা একটা কানেক্ট হয়ে যায়, নেটওয়ার্ক তৈরি হয়ে যায়। and also advocacy support, sector specific organizations are there, যেমন ইরমাতে অ্যাগ্রো এন্টারপ্রেনারদের, ফুড প্রোডাকশন কোম্পানি, দেন ফার্মার্স প্রোডিউসার্স কোম্পানিদের প্রচন্ড পরিমাণে হেল্প করা হয়। যেমন তোমাদের কালকে যে ম্যাডাম এসেছিলেন আইআইটি থেকে, they are also supporting lot of entrepreneurs in different areas of the northeast, right? So এইগুলো হচ্ছে সাপোর্ট আমরা পেয়ে থাকি। And when we say that incubation টা কি, what is this, what is ecosystem, এটা অ্যাকচুয়ালি হচ্ছে এটা একটা কমন টুল আমাদের স্টার্টআপদের একটা স্টেবিলিটির দিকে নিয়ে যেতে হবে। এটা হচ্ছে তাদের মেইন মোটো। কিভাবে হবে? প্রথমে ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার আর্লি স্টার্টআপস দে গিভ দ্য প্রোভাইড দ্য this physical space. Then they also connect with them with lot of funders, so funding options are available. And also mentoring কেও, কারণ হচ্ছে যদি তোমার আইডিয়াটা বিজনেস ডুয়েবল না হয়, এন্টারপ্রাইজ ক্রিয়েট না করতে পারো, তাহলে কেউই ইন্টারেস্ট নেবে না। সো ওই যে তোমার একটা প্রসেস, সেটা কিন্তু হেল্প করে বিল্ড করতে ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার। দেন ইট ইজ অলসো প্লেস অফ শেয়ারিং এন্ড লার্নিং। কিভাবে? ধরো একটা ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টারে 10 জন আছে, তোমাদের মতন ছোট ছোট স্টার্টআপ নিয়ে এসেছে। এবার যখন একজনে যে মিস্টেকটা করছে, আরেকজন সেটা কিন্তু কারেক্ট করে দিচ্ছে, কারণ সে অলরেডি কারেক্ট করেছে। তাহলে এখানে কি হচ্ছে যে একটা পিওর লার্নিং স্পেস তৈরি হচ্ছে। প্লেস ফর নেটওয়ার্ক এবং প্লেস ফর ডেভেলপিং লার্নিং ক্যাপাবিলিটিস অলসো। যখন 10টা এন্টারপ্রেনারের সাথে তুমি কথা বলবে, তখন অনেকেরই ভালো গুণ তোমার চোখে পড়বে, এন্ড তখন তুমি সেইগুলোকে লার্ন করার চেষ্টা করবে। তুমি কিভাবে পারসু করবে ফান্ডারদের সাথে, কিভাবে পারসু করবে তোমার আদার নেটওয়ার্ক, কিভাবে তুমি প্রফেসরদের কনভিন্স করবে, সেইগুলো কিন্তু ওই ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টারে যখন একসাথে 10টা লোক কাজ করছে, they can think about it. Okay, now what we believe incubation is, we are doing incubation activities for a long time now, almost 11-12 years. আমরা যেটা দেখেছি যে এটা একটা ফ্যাসিলিটেশন সিস্টেম, যে তোমার ইন্টারেস্ট থাকবে, তোমার আইডিয়া আছে, তুমি করতে চাও কিছু ভালো, সোসাইটাল কিছু চেঞ্জ করতে চাও, সেইখানে সেই রকম পারসন যদি তুমি হও, তাহলে তোমার প্রসেসটাকে একটু আগে এগিয়ে নেওয়ার জন্য ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার। A process with and without physical infrastructure, ভার্চুয়াল প্ল্যাটফর্মে অনেক ইনকিউবেশন অ্যাক্টিভিটি আজকাল হয়, ঠিক আছে। তারপরে স্ট্রং ইন্টারফেস বিটুইন থিওরি এন্ড প্র্যাকটিস। জানো যে আমাদের কিছু ইকোনমিক থিওরি আছে যেগুলো আমরা জেনে এসেছি খুব ট্রু, কিন্তু যখন প্র্যাকটিস করতে যাচ্ছি তখন সেই থিওরিগুলো আর কাজ করছে না। যেমন ধরো কম্পিটিশন, আমরা কম্পিটিটিভ অ্যাডভান্টেজ নিয়ে প্রচুর কথা বলি, তাই তো? কিন্তু যখন আমি গেলাম, গিয়ে দেখলাম যে না, এরকম তো হচ্ছে না, যে দেশের কম রিসোর্স আছে তারাও তো সেগুলো প্রজেক্ট করছে, প্রডিউস করছে, কিভাবে করছে। তাহলে এখানে কি হচ্ছে যে তোমার প্র্যাকটিসটা দিয়ে তুমি যখন সেই থিওরিগুলোকে দেখবে, তুমি দেখবে যে নয় তুমি অ্যাকসেপ্ট করে নেবে থিওরিটা, আর নয় তুমি একটা নিউ থিওরি ক্রিয়েট করবে চ্যালেঞ্জ করে, তাই তো? তো সেই ক্ষেত্রে ইনকিউবেশন অ্যাক্টিভিটি খালি ফ্যাসিলিটেট করছে তা নয়, এটা কিন্তু একটা থিওরাইজ করার মতো জায়গা। So academician, if they are engaged into the incubation center, they also theorize the new phenomenon which is emerging. কারণ কখনোই ইকোনমিক কনস্ট্যান্ট নয়, তাই তো? বদলাতে থাকছে। যেমন ধরো আমরা এরকমও দেখেছি একটা কেসে, যে যারা কনজিউমার তারা বিজনেস পার্টনার হয়ে যাচ্ছে। যে ও ধরো সেই ছেলেটা অর্গানিক ফার্মিং এর উপর কাজ করছিল, অর্গানিক ভেজিটেবল যারা কিনছে সেই কনজিউমাররা বলছে এবারে অর্গানিক মিল্ক কেন করছো না, তো বলছে ওটা তো করতে অনেক টাকা লাগবে। তখন দুজন কনজিউমার বলেছে আমরা চিলিং প্ল্যান্ট তৈরি করব আমাদের বাড়িতে, তুমি কি করবে? সো আরেকটা বিজনেস কিন্তু ক্রিয়েট হয়ে যাচ্ছে। তাহলে এখানে কনজিউমার ক্যানট বি পার্টনার, এটা আমরা বলতে পারি না। সো কনজিউমার সামটাইমস they become the partner of the venture. So theory building is a very important issue inside the incubation center, venture creation on principles of theory, and we validate the theory through looking at the venture কিভাবে ক্রিয়েট হচ্ছে। তাহলে কিছু থিওরি অবসোলেট হয়ে যাবে আর কিছু নতুন থিওরির জন্ম হবে, সেটাও কিন্তু এখান দিয়ে করা যেতে পারে। নাও যখন আমরা করছিলাম যে আইডিয়াল ইনকিউবেশন সিস্টেম কি হবে, ধরো এরকম আমরা দেখেছি যে বিজনেস চালু করলো, ভেরি সাকসেসফুল, কিন্তু ফ্যামিলিয়াল সাপোর্ট নেই। কারণ ফ্যামিলি বলছে তোমাকে পড়তে পাঠিয়েছি বম্বেতে, তুমি তার মানে নিশ্চয়ই পাস করোনি বা কিছু একটা খারাপ হয়েছে, নাহলে গ্রামে এসে বসে চাষবাস করছো কেন, ঠিক আছে? তো সেই ক্ষেত্রে তাকে বন্ধ করে দিতে হয়েছে। 2 বছর সে নাবার্ডে চাকরি করেছে, তারপরে এসে আবার সে করছে। শুধু না, আমি যদি একবার তাদের সাপোর্ট দিয়ে দিই আর ভাবলাম যে হয়ে গেল, তা হবে না, হ্যান্ডহোল্ডিং করতে হবে। So it is a cyclical approach. এখানে কোনো লিনিয়ারিটি নেই, এটা ভেরি নন লিনিয়ার, একবার উপরে উঠো একবার নিচে নামো আবার, কিন্তু এটা লার্নিং, এই যে অসিলেশনটা এটা একটা লার্নিং হিসেবে দেখা হয়। এন্টারপ্রেনিউরিয়াল এডুকেশন ট্রেনিং এর ভীষণ জরুরত। তুমি দেখবে যে আগের এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ বুক বলবে এন্টারপ্রেনিউরশিপ ক্যানট বি টট, আমরা কিন্তু বলি যে এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ ক্যান বি টট। কারণ কিছু প্রসেস তো তোমাকে শেখানো যেতেই পারে, কিছু ইকোনমিক্স এর ক্যালকুলেশন তোমায় শেখাতেই পারি, যাতে তোমার পক্ষে তোমার স্কিলটা বাড়লো, এন্ড যেভাবে তুমি বিজনেসটা করছিলে এখন আর সেভাবে করবে না, অন্যভাবে করবে, ঠিক আছে? ফিজিক্যাল ইনফ্রাস্ট্রাকচার সাপোর্টও কিছু ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার দিয়ে থাকে, এন্ড স্পেস ফর নেটওয়ার্কিং তো হতেই হবে, স্পেশালি সোশ্যাল এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ, যেটা যে সোশ্যাল প্রবলেম কমিউনিটির সাথে যে কাজটা করে তারপরে একটা কমার্শিয়ালাইজেশন হবে প্রোডাক্টের, সেই ক্ষেত্রে তুমি দেখবে যে নেটওয়ার্ক ভীষণ। সো উই ডোন্ট কম্পিট, উই কোলাবোরেট। তো কোলাবোরেশন বিনা এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ কিন্তু টিকবে না, কারণ সবার রিসোর্স কনস্ট্রেন্ট সবার ক্ষেত্রে, কারোর কাছে স্পেস আছে, কারোর কাছে মার্কেটিং চ্যানেল নেই, কারোর কাছে মার্কেটিং চ্যানেল আছে স্পেস নেই, তাদের জড়িয়ে দাও, তাহলে দুটো মিলিয়ে একটা বেশ ভালো মডেল তৈরি হবে। এক্সপোজার টু দ্য গ্রেট অডিয়েন্স, দ্যাট ইজ অলসো ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট। তুমি একটা জায়গায় কাজ করছো, সেই স্টোরিটা কেউ জানবে না তাহলে কিন্তু হবে না, স্টোরিটা জানলে কিন্তু অনেক নেটওয়ার্ক দিয়ে তোমার অনেক সাপোর্টও এসে যাবে। Then access to fund, financial ecosystem, CSR partnership, corporate and academic partnership, all sort of partnerships are required. হ্যাঁ, এখন কিন্তু একটা এন্টিটি খালি ক্লেম করতে পারবে না আমি এন্টারপ্রাইজ ক্রিয়েট করেছি। একাডেমিক ইনস্টিটিউশন তোমাদের মেন্টরিং করে দিল। এবার কর্পোরেট সোশ্যাল রেসপন্সিবিলিটি, there are several banks like HDFC Bank, then DBS Bank of Singapore, they all promote the entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship. So they might come up with the marketing knowledge, come up with the financial knowledge. So all the quarters come together to create a business model. So access to fund and financial system এর সাথে যে যোগাযোগ সেটা কিন্তু অনেক জরুরি, কারণ there are several funds, several business loans for the small and marginal entrepreneurs also. So we already talked about this. Now I also should show you what are the differences, about the incubation models. They can be differentiated basis on of. So there are several incubation centers who are only promoting for-profit entities. There are several incubation centers who are promoting not-for-profit companies and the non-profits. And they also help the develop the business model. And there are post institute হিসাব সেবি, আমরা ওটাকে ডিভাইড করতে পারি। যেমন ধরো কিছু ইনভেস্টরস তারাও একটা করে ইনকিউবেশন সাপোর্ট দেয়। There are government entities like IIM Bangalore, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Bombay, IIM Kolkata, TISS, all of them have a incubation support, okay, mentoring support. पहले টাকা আসার আগে কিন্তু অনেক নন ফাইনান্সিয়াল অ্যাক্টিভিটি তোমাকে রেডি রাখতে হবে, সো দ্যাট ফান্ডার উইল কাম টু ইউ। তো সেইখানে এই পোস্ট ইনস্টিটিউটের কাজ। আর টার্গেট এন্টারপ্রাইজ কেউ কেউ করে কি আইডিয়া লেভেলে হেল্প করে, কেউ প্রুফ অফ কনসেপ্ট হয়ে যাওয়ার পর হেল্প করে, কেউ আবার স্কেল লেভেলে মানে স্টার্টআপ থেকে যখন স্টেপ আপে যাচ্ছে তখন সেই স্কেলে হেল্প করছে। আর সেক্টর স্পেসিফিক অলসো হেল্প আছে, যেমন এডুকেশনে কেউ আছে করবে, হেলথ স্পেশাল, হেলথে যদি তোমরা এন্টারপ্রাইজ করো সেখানে বেশ কিছু আলাদা, টেকনোলজি যদি করো সেখানে ডিবিটি বাইরাক আছে, স্পেশালি বায়োটেকনোলজি। তো এরকম নানান রকমের ইনকিউবেশন আছে। কেউ অ্যাক্সিলারেট করছে বিজনেসকে, কেউ কোওয়ার্কিং স্পেস দিচ্ছে। টাটারা খুব দে আর ওয়েল নোন টু গিভ দ্য কোওয়ার্কিং স্পেস। এখন যদি তোমরা কলকাতা যাও দেখবে যে সেক্টর 5 এ অনেক অফিশিয়াল স্পেস ক্রিয়েট করা হয়েছে আর্লি স্টার্টআপসদের জন্য বাই টাটাস। সো তারা একটা কিছু দিনের জন্য 3 বছর কি 4 বছরের জন্য ওদের ওই ওয়ার্কিং স্পেসটা দিয়ে দিল, অনেকগুলো এন্টারপ্রাইজ মিলে বসে সেই ফ্লোরে কাজ করছে। আর তারপরে তারা যখন একটু এস্টাবলিশ হয়ে গেল তখন তারা ওটা ছেড়ে দিয়ে বেরিয়ে গেল। তো এরকম অনেক ধরনের সাপোর্ট আছে। আর ভেরিয়াস স্টেপস অফ এন্ড মেথডস অফ ইনকিউবেশন। সো ইনকিউবেশনে প্রথমে হচ্ছে যে সিলেকশন। একটা দেখবে যে ওরা যখন সিলেকশন কাদের করবে, এন্টারপ্রেনারদের করবে, তার জন্য ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টারকে কি করতে হবে, বিভিন্ন জায়গায় যেতে হবে, স্কাউট করতে হবে, তাই তো, এবং শুনতে হবে। অনেক রকম ইনকিউবেশন আবার আদার ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টারদের সাথেও কাজ করে। এবং তারপরে তারা অনেক রকম সাকসেস ফ্যাক্টরসও আছে, যেমন clearly communicating what the program all about. যদি কোনো ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার কোনো রকম প্রোগ্রাম করে তাহলে তার কমিউনিকেশন ঠিকঠাক জানা চাই। তারপর হচ্ছে সিলেকশন। সিলেকশনটা খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট। ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টারে যদি তুমি খালি আইডিয়া নিয়ে যাও হবে না, তোমার আইডিয়াটা কি কাজের ডুয়েবল সেইগুলো কিন্তু এভরি ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার তারা কিন্তু এটা প্রচন্ড কঠিন ভাবে পরীক্ষা করে নেয় যে তোমার দ্বারা হবে না হবে না, তুমি কি সেই জায়গাটায় আছো না আছো না। আর অনেক সময় সাপোর্ট অনেক যারা ধরো সিলেক্ট হলো না তাদের বললো যে এইভাবে এইভাবে কাজ করে পরের বছর আবার অ্যাপ্লাই করো। দেন নন ফাইনান্সিয়াল সাপোর্টের মধ্যে বেসিক্যালি দ্য কোচিং, মেন্টরিং এগুলো চলে। তোমার লিগ্যাল ফ্রেমওয়ার্কটা কি হবে, তোমার হিউম্যান রিসোর্স কারা কারা তোমার জন্য দরকার, এই ধরনের মেন্টরিং গুলো হয়। তারপরে কেউ কেউ নিজেরা ফিনান্স করে, ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টারে যদি ফান্ড অ্যাভেলেবল থাকে, না হলে ওরা কি করবে, ফান্ডারদের যে পাইপলাইন সেইখানে ওরা যুক্ত করে দেবে। যেমন আমাদের ধরো আমাদের ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টারে আমাদের কিন্তু আমরা ফান্ড করেছি প্রথম 7 বছর, তারপর আমরা ফান্ড বন্ধ করে দিই। কারণ একাডেমিক ইনস্টিটিউশনে কি হয় যে তুমি মেন্টরিং করবে না ফান্ডিং করবে সব একসাথে করে ঘোটালা হয়ে যাচ্ছে। তো সেখানে আমরা কি করলাম, আমরা মেন্টরিংটা করলাম, করে আমরা তাদের কানেক্ট করে দিচ্ছি সমস্ত ফান্ডারদের। তো যেমন আমাদের বেশ কিছু স্টুডেন্টস ডিবিএস এর ফেলো ছিল, তারা গ্রান্ট পেয়েছিল, বেশ ভালো গ্রান্ট পেয়েছে। তারপরে ডিবিটি তে কেউ সোলার প্রসেসিং এর উপর কাজ করছিল, ওরা ডিবিটি থেকে 50 লক্ষ টাকা পর্যন্ত ফান্ড পেয়েছে। তো এখন তো আর আগের মতো নেই, তখন 2007 আমরা শুরু করি, ফান্ডার ইনভেস্টর এদের কিছু হবে না। কিন্তু এখন তো ইকোসিস্টেমটা মোটামুটি তৈরি হয়ে গেছে, সবাইকে আর বলতে হয় না সোশ্যাল এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ কি, এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ কি। সো এখন অনেক ফান্ডার। তো আমরা দেখলাম যে আমাদের রোলটা এখন ফান্ডিং থেকে কাটিয়ে নিয়ে, কারণ ওখানে অনেক লোক আছে, এই মেন্টরিং এ যদি আমরা দিই, ভালো একটা সাউন্ড বিজনেস প্ল্যান যদি তৈরি করার মতো তারা হয়ে যায়, এমনিতেই ফান্ডার ওর পিছনে পড়বে। কিছু আমাদের স্টুডেন্টস আছে যারা অ্যালাম ক্যান্সার, ব্রেস্ট ক্যান্সারের উপর কাজ করেছে, প্রস্থেটিক্স এর উপরে, ওদের তো ইউএন থেকেও বেশ প্রাইজ পেয়েছে, এরকম মানে বাইরের এজেন্সিদের থেকেও ওরা পেয়েছে। সুতরাং ডুয়েবল, যদি এটা ভালো করে করা যায়। প্রথমে মনে হয় টাকা নেই, কিন্তু টাকাটা সমস্যা নয়, সমস্যা হচ্ছে এই প্রসেসটা। এই প্রসেসটা যদি কারেক্ট হয় তাহলে অনেক ইন্টারেস্টেড পারসন তোমার কাছে কিন্তু এসে টাকা দেবে। তো ওটাই বলার যে যেটা করবে সেটা 100% দিয়ে করো, দেন কিছু তো হবে। কিছু হয় না এরকম নয়। আমাদের অনেক এন্টারপ্রেনার্স আছে মণিপুরে, মণিপুর থেকে আছে 2জন 3জন বেশ ভালো কাজ করছে। ওরা একজন এডুকেশনের উপর কাজ করছে, একজন করছে ইকো ট্যুরিজমের উপরে। তো নর্থ ইস্টে সম্ভব না এটা আমি মানি না, হয়। আর আরেকজনকে আমরা হারিয়েছি যে খুব ভালো এন্টারপ্রেনার ছিল, আমাদেরই এক অ্যালাম, রোড অ্যাক্সিডেন্টে চলে যায় ও, ওরও বেশ ভালো কাজ করেছে এবং ও বোরোল্যান্ড থেকে ছিল। এবার ওকে রীতিমতো ইনসার্জেন্টরা ধরে নিয়ে গেছিল চোখ বেঁধে, তখন ওদেরও বিজনেস আইডিয়াও কনভিন্স করে, 3 দিন আটকা ছিল। তারপরে যখন ছেড়ে বেরিয়েছে ওরাই বলেছে যা কিছু করো বোরোল্যান্ডে করো, আমরা তোমায় হেল্প করবো, কারণ তুমি আমার ল্যান্ডের ভালো কাজ করতে চাইছো। So he is the one case who support মানে পয়সা সাপোর্ট না, যে ওই ল্যান্ডটাতে ঢুকতে পারছে। তো এই ধরনের অনেক গল্প, তুমি এরকম অ্যানেকডোটাল স্টোরি অনেক এন্টারপ্রেনারদের জীবনেই আছে। দ্যাটস নট দ্য ইম্পর্টেন্ট হচ্ছে যে কোনো একটা মানে নেগেটিভ এরিয়া সেটাকে টুইক করে দাও, দেখো হবে। আমরা আচ্ছা সবাই বলছে কাশ্মীর এখন অনেক কিছু বলে, আমরা তো কাশ্মীর যাচ্ছি সেই অনেক আগে থেকে, 2015-16 সাল থেকে যাচ্ছি, ওখানে ট্রেনিং হচ্ছে, সব হচ্ছে, ওর মধ্যেই কয়েকজন ভীষণ ভালো কাজ করছে। আর তারা ইন টার্মস দে আর ট্রু সোশ্যাল এন্টারপ্রেনিউর, কারণ সোশ্যাল প্রবলেমসটা সলভ করে করে তারা কিন্তু অনেক লোককে জুড়েছে এটার সাথে, এন্টারপ্রাইজের সাথে। তো এগুলো হচ্ছে ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার এই কাজগুলো করে। সো দেয়ার আর ইন্ডিয়ান সিনারিওতে তুমি যদি দেখো দেয়ার আর couple of technology based incubation facility center, then funded by Department of Science and Technology. All the IITs, IIM, NETs have their at least one incubator, and university system এও অনেক incubation center আছে। The best I think Hyderabad Central University যে chemical lab, that is an incubation center for a long time. Now there are several science department, they have also incubation center, and they also support social enterprises, but they have a mandatory for enterprise to be registered as a company. আর একটা জিনিস, লিগালটা ভীষণ ভালোভাবে বুঝিয়ে দেওয়া হয় ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টারে, যে তোমারটা এটা নট ফর প্রফিট এন্টিটি করবে নাকি ফর প্রফিট এন্টিটি করবে নাকি খালি এনজিও করবে, এই জায়গাটাতে ভীষণ ধোঁয়াশা, সেই জায়গাটা ক্লিয়ার করে দেয় কিন্তু ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার, কারণ তাদের সাথে অনেক লিগ্যাল পিপল অলসো মেন্টর থাকে, and exposure to venture capitalist network also. So incubation center always they conduct lot of workshops, and যেখানে incubators la present করবে তাদের business plan in front of the investor. There are several investors, কেউ ভেঞ্চার ক্যাপিটালিস্ট হয়, কেউ সোশ্যাল ইমপ্যাক্ট ইনভেস্টর হয়, যে তুমি যদি সোশ্যাল ইমপ্যাক্ট দেখাতে পারো 7-8 বছরের জন্য আমি তোমাকে পয়সা দিলাম, ঠিক আছে, তারপরে দেখা যাবে তুমি ফেরত দিতে পারছো, না পারলে তোমাকে বললাম ওই আরেকটা অঞ্চলে গিয়ে কাজ করো, সেটাও হয়। তো ডিফারেন্ট, তো এগুলো হচ্ছে টেকনোলজি বেসড ইনকিউবেশনস কোথায় কোথায় আছে। আর ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার ন্যাশনাল সিনারিওতেও আছে অনেক ফ্যাসিলিটেশন সেন্টার, সোশ্যাল এন্টারপ্রাইজ ইনকিউবেটরসও আজকাল অনেক হয়ে গেছে। আর যেটা আমাদের মেজর এরিয়া দেখতে পারবে, ইনকিউবেটর চালু হয়েছিল, আমাদেরটা চালু হয়েছে 2011, তার আগে আনলিমিটেড ইন্ডিয়া, বিল গ্রো, স্টার্টআপ ওয়াইসিস রাজস্থান, আমরা কারেন্টলি অলসো ছত্তিশগড় গভর্নমেন্টের যেটা টিবিআই তার সাথেও যুক্ত আছি। তো আমাদের মডেলটাই ওরা নিয়ে গিয়ে ওখানে ওটা চালু করেছে। আর এখন তো অনেক অটল বিহারী ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার যেটা এআইসি, ওর মধ্যেও অনেক কলেজরা কিন্তু ওইগুলি পাচ্ছে, গ্রান্ট পেয়েছে তৈরি করার জন্য। And government in the ecosystem generation and support, এই ডিপার্টমেন্ট গুলো জেনারেলি কাজ করে, নীতি আয়োগও আছে ওর সাথে। আর মিনিস্ট্রি অফ স্কিল ডেভেলপমেন্ট এন্ড এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ, এই যে স্ট্যান্ড আপ ইন্ডিয়া, স্টার্টআপ ইন্ডিয়া, these are all project of নীতি আয়োগ। And incubation new thinking, আমরা কি কোনো নতুন কিছু শিখছি, ফার্স্ট আমরা শিখি যে ইনকিউবেশন শেখায় আমাদের কোলাবোরেট করতে, যত কোলাবোরেট করবে, যত নেটওয়ার্ক বানাবে, তত তোমার কাজের সুবিধা, তত তুমি রিসোর্সের অ্যাক্সেস পাবে। তো being resourceful doesn't mean that সব রিসোর্সেস ওনার তোমাকে হতে হবে, তোমার পার্টনারের রিসোর্সটাও যদি তুমি অ্যাক্সেস করতে পারো তাহলেও তুমি রিসোর্সফুল। স্কেল বাই রেপ্লিকেশন এন্ড নট বাই সাইজ, সামটাইম তুমি ওটাকে বিভিন্ন এরিয়াতে করতে পারো, একই এরিয়াতে হয়তো সাইজ করা যাচ্ছে না, তখন কি করবে, ওই সেম প্রবলেম যে যে এরিয়াতে আছে সেইখানে গিয়ে এন্টারপ্রাইজ ক্রিয়েট করতে পারো। সো হরাইজন্টালি তুমি স্কেল আপ করতে পারো, আবার ভার্টিক্যালি স্কেল আপও করতে পারো। And খুব বেশি ইম্পর্টেন্ট হচ্ছে প্রেজেন্স ইন টায়ার 2 এন্ড টায়ার 3 সিটিজ। দেখো কসমোপলিটন সিটিতে এমনিতেই রিসোর্সের অভাব হয় না, কিন্তু টায়ার 2 টায়ার 3 তে যদি ইনকিউবেশন সাপোর্ট দেওয়া যায় তাহলে অনেক বেশি রিজিওনাল ডেভেলপমেন্ট আমরা দেখতে পারি। আর ইনকিউবেশন মাস্ট থিংক ডিফারেন্টলি while looking at its impact, ইম্প্যাক্টটা একদিনে হবে না, তার জন্য ওয়েট করতে হবে। সো ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার দেখবে 18 মাসের একটা ইনকিউবেশন সাপোর্ট দেবে, তারপরে 3 বছর পর্যন্ত সেটাকে মনিটর করতে থাকবে, এবং 5 বছরের মাথায় গিয়ে বলবে যে কি ইম্প্যাক্ট আমরা ক্রিয়েট করছি। ইম্প্যাক্ট কিন্তু একদিনে ক্রিয়েট করতে পারবে। আর আমাদের যেটা কেস স্টাডি, সেটা টিস তোমরা সবাই জানো যে 1936 এ it was started by Tata, Dorabji Tata, and then 1944 it's renamed as TIS, প্রথমে ছিল এটা Institution of Social Work. So and Deemed University, এটা Central Deemed to be University is declared in 1964, and তো several centers, schools, আমাদের flagship program হচ্ছে social work and also PMIR, এখন যেটাকে বলা হয় human resource management. Later on আমাদের এইসব যে কোর্স গুলো, এগুলো later on 2006 একটা বিশাল রিস্ট্রাকচারিং হয়, তখন এই প্রোগ্রামগুলো চালু করার কথা হয়। And objective আমাদের হচ্ছে to develop individuals as entrepreneurs with focus on social entrepreneurship. So খালি আমরা entrepreneurs create করছি না, social problemটা solve করার চেষ্টা করা হচ্ছে। And to enable budding and practicing social entrepreneurs with concept practice to solve social problems, and also একটা environment create করা যেখানে সবাই they have dialogue, discussion, creation of research base for developing domain in knowledge about the social entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurship in general. So আমাদের এটা তিনটে ডোমেন আছে, একটা যে নলেজ ডোমেন যেখানে আমরা রিসার্চ করি, কনসেপচুয়াল, এমপিরিক্যাল এন্ড কনফারেন্সেস করি, ডক্টরাল রিসার্চ হয়। এডুকেশন ডোমেন তার মানে কি এখানে নলেজ ক্রিয়েশন হচ্ছে, সেটাই আবার ডিসেমিনেট হচ্ছে যখন আমরা পড়াতে যাচ্ছি। সো ফুল টাইম মাস্টার্স প্রোগ্রাম আছে, আমাদের এক্সিকিউটিভ এডুকেশন আছে এবং সার্টিফিকেট প্রোগ্রাম আমরা নতুন চালু করব। আর ভেঞ্চার ডোমেইনে আমরা যেমন সাপোর্ট করি অ্যালুমনাই স্টার্টআপকে, সাপোর্ট নন অ্যালাম স্টার্টআপকেও আমরা হেল্প করি। যদি কেউ লেখে তাহলে আমাদের ওই থ্রু প্রসেস দিয়ে আমরা ওদের নিয়ে নিই ইনকিউবেশনে, and then we extend our support and advise other organizations also already engaged in similar activities. So we আমাদের ফোকাসটা হচ্ছে সমস্ত ব্যাকওয়ার্ড এরিয়াতে গিয়ে সেখানে ইনকিউবেশনে হেল্প করা কোনো এজেন্সিকে। So we do it in Kashmir, we do it in Bastar, we also in Bankura, West Bengal, and Northeast e to amader only campus hi ache Guwahati te, that campus also catered to the all of the parts of Northeast. So এইভাবে আমরা এই ইনকিউবেশন অ্যাক্টিভিটি গুলো করে থাকি। And how do we do? আমরা অনেক আগে এন্টারপ্রাইজ ক্রিয়েশনের অনেক আগে থেকে শুরু করি জার্নিটা। যখন কেউ আসে আমাদের কাছে আইডিয়া নিয়ে, ঠিক আছে, আইডিয়া নিয়ে কথা বলতে বলতে কাজ করতে করতে ওরাই নিজেরাই বলে যে কোন জায়গাটাতে, যখন ওদের প্রবলেম ম্যাপিং শেখাই আমরা বা আইডিয়াকে ডুয়েবল কিনা, প্র্যাকটিক্যাল কিনা, সেইখান থেকে ওরা প্রুফ অফ কনসেপ্টটা করে, তারপরে ওরা যখন ঠিক করে যে আমরা স্টার্টআপ করব, তখন ওদের নিয়ে যাই আমরা ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টারে। আর এই ইনকিউবেশন সেন্টার থেকে যেমন গ্রোথের যে জায়গাটা আর্লি স্টার্টআপ টু এন্টারপ্রাইজ ক্রিয়েশন, সেইখানে আমরা অনেক, এটাকে আমাদের আগে ছিল ডিবিএসটি সোশ্যাল ভেঞ্চার ইনিশিয়েটিভ, এখন এটা টিসিপি ফাউন্ডেশন হয়ে গেছে, দ্যাট ইজ অলরেডি রেজিস্টার্ড অ্যাজ সেকশন 8 কোম্পানিজ। সো এইভাবে করে মানে একদম জিরো থেকে শুরু করে আমরা এই ধরো স্কেল আপটা করাতে শেখাই। আর আমাদের মেজর থিং ইজ দ্য প্রবলেম ম্যাপিং। আমরা কখনো কাউকে বলি না এই এন্টারপ্রাইজ করো, ওই ভেঞ্চার করো, আমরা বলি যে এরিয়াতে তুমি কাজ করতে চাইছো সেই এরিয়াটা কিভাবে জানো, ডু ইউ নো এভরি প্রবলেম। যখন তারা বলবে যে এই প্রবলেম হচ্ছে আমাদের ওখানে, তখন আমরা বলি ভালো করে প্রবলেম ম্যাপটা ড্র করো তো। এবারে ধরো কেউ এসে বললো এডুকেশন ইজ আ প্রবলেম, এডুকেশনে কোথায় প্রবলেম, ড্রপ আউট প্রবলেম, নাকি ভালো লার্নিং মডিউলস নেই সেটা প্রবলেম, নাকি নিউট্রিশনাল অ্যাটেনমেন্ট অতটা নেই তার জন্য এডুকেশন প্রবলেম হচ্ছে। সো এইগুলো হচ্ছে একটা বড় প্রবলেমকে যখন আমরা ছোট 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 লেয়ারিং ডিলেয়ারিং করি, সেইটাকে আমরা বলছি প্রবলেম ম্যাপিং। সো ডিফাইন প্রবলেমস দ্য ওয়ে উই নো এন্ড আর এবল টু এক্সপ্লেন। কারণ আমরা বিশ্বাস করি যদি আমরা অল ডাইমেনশন দিয়ে প্রবলেমটাকে করতে পারি, তাহলে আমরা জানি যে আমাদের পটেনশিয়াল, তারপরে আসবে আমাদের কি পটেনশিয়াল আছে, আমার কাছে কি স্কিল আছে, কোন এরিয়াটা আমি টার্গেট করতে পারি। আমি কি এডুকেশনে নিউট্রিশনাল অ্যাটেনমেন্টে কিছু কাজ করব, নাকি আমি কোর্স মডিউলটা বানাবো, কোনটাতে আমার বেশি। সো আমাকে নিজেকে আগে জিজ্ঞেস করতে হবে যে আমি কি পারি, আমার কাছে যে বন্ধুগুলো আছে তারা কি পারে, আমি কি একটা গ্রুপ ভেঞ্চার বানাতে পারি। So explain the complexity, not to make the problem simple and short, rather consider to be holistic and as detailed as possible. কারণ একবার তুমি যদি সলিউশন দিয়ে যাও তখন আর ঠিক করার কিছু থাকে না, কিন্তু সলিউশনের আগে যদি আমি বেশি করে ওটা চর্চা করি তাহলে সলিউশনটা আমি কারেক্ট পেতে পারি। And enter into the problem space through a gate which seems easy and feasible for the entrepreneur. আমরা কখনো কাউকে বলি না যে এত বিগ চেঞ্জ করো, আর এটুকু তোমার করার, এইটুকু দিয়ে তুমি শুরু করো, শুরু করে দেখো তুমি কি করতে পারছো, কাদের দরকার হচ্ছে, কি রিসোর্সেস দরকার হচ্ছে, দেন ইউ কাম টু আস, দেন উই উইল মনিটর, দেন উই উইল মেন্টর, এন্ড তারপরে আমরা আসল যে ব্যাপারটা করি। সো এটা ওয়ার্কস অ্যারাউন্ড আ প্রবলেম, নট অ্যান আইডিয়া। কারণ অনেক সময় না অনেকে প্রতিদিন স্বপ্ন দেখে, চলে এলো আইডিয়া নিয়ে, কিন্তু সেটাতে কিছু করার থাকে না। হ্যাঁ, সো খালি আইডিয়া দিলে তো হবে না, ওই আইডিয়াটাকে তো আমাকে প্র্যাকটিক্যাল একটা আইডিয়া হতে হবে। যখনই প্র্যাকটিক্যাল এর কথা আসছে তখনই আমাকে প্রবলেম ম্যাপিং এক্সারসাইজটা দিয়ে যেতে হবে। সো এরকম আমাদের যত দেখি, যত এন্টারপ্রেনার ইনকিউবেশন দিয়ে আসে, তারা সবাই আনহ্যাপি উইথ টুডে, ভিশনিং ফর টুমরো, আমাকে এত বড় চেঞ্জ করতে হবে, এন্ড তারপরে সিরিজ অফ এক্সপেরিমেন্টস ওদের আমরা করাই, সো দ্যাট they know that কোনটা doable and কোনটা doable নয় before creation of the startups. And আমাদের গাইডিং প্রিন্সিপাল হচ্ছে এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ ডেভেলপমেন্ট থ্রু প্র্যাকটিস। সো প্রচুর পরিমাণে ফিল্ড তোমাকে করতে হবে, তোমার নিজের এরিয়াকে জানতে হবে, তোমার স্টেক হোল্ডার খুঁজে বার করতে হবে, সাপ্লায়ারকে খুঁজে বার করতে হবে, এগুলো সব করতে হবে। সো an ecosystem that supports the early stage social enterprises, promote social startups by guiding them right from the stage zero and when social problems are articulated, and ensure that these ventures create impactful and sustainable. So আজকে তৈরি করে কালকে বন্ধ করলে হবে না, এটাকে টেনে নিয়ে যেতে হবে। সো সেই সাস্টেইনেবিলিটি নিয়েও আমাদের কথা বলতে হয়, and provide opportunities for experimentation and exploration for newer solution. সো যখনই আমরা এন্টারপ্রাইজ বলবো তখনই সেখানে একটা কিছু ইনোভেশন থাকবে, তো তোমার সলিউশনটাও ইনোভেটিভ হতে হবে। হ্যাঁ, যেগুলো এক্সিস্টিং সেগুলো তো কাজ করছে না, তাহলে আমাদের নতুন সলিউশনে আসতে হবে। ঠিক আছে? And how do we do this? So problem identification করাই, ওদের ভেঞ্চার প্ল্যান লেখাই, যে তুমি এবারে এইটুকুনি জায়গা কিনেছো, এইটার জন্য তোমার কতটা রেভিনিউ লাগবে, কোথা থেকে তুমি সেই রেভিনিউ পাবে, এই এক্সারসাইজ গুলো চলতে থাকে। And mentoring for model building, implementation, scaling, এগুলো আমরা করে থাকি। কিছু কিছু লিমিটেড সিড ফান্ডিংও আমরা দিই যখন স্টুডেন্টস রুরাল ভিজিটে যায় বা তাদের পাইলট গুলো লঞ্চ করে। And connecting through network for seed funding for the venture creation also. So infrastructure generally আমরা support the Mumbai based or social ventures, but other যারা বাইরে আছে তাদের অন্য mentoring এই সাপোর্ট গুলো আমরা দিই। And technology institution এর সাথেও আমরা connected because we are the knowledge partner of Baira. So lot of and also ICT, that is Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, so that students can take some technology solutions from them at a zero cost. So these are few more milestone. Sorry. So this learning is that create a larger ecosystem to support social entrepreneurship across the country and reach out to the villages to inculcate the entrepreneurial thinking in the rural youth. Target urban youth also, so whoever wants to pursue, and strengthen the overall incubation, mentoring, support. এইগুলো তো আমরা করেই থাকি। আর আমাদের যে মাইলস্টোন আমরা কি অ্যাচিভ করলাম এই কদিনে, ধরো 10-11 বছরে, এখানে ফিউ স্টোরিজ আর দেয়ার। টোটাল 56, এখন এটা প্লাস হয়ে গেছে, আরো বেড়েছে, startups incubated at TISS, and we have a strong pool of more than 20 mentors from different areas, and many ventures featured in the national international media like Sapme Bajayate, KBC, then Mumbai Heroes, TV, ওখানে ওদের কেস করেছে, and there are a lot of stories writing on startups, সেখানেও আমাদের কিছু স্টুডেন্টস কে নেওয়া হয়েছে। And we also established a network with other incubators also, যেমন IIM কলকাতার সাথে আমাদের ভালো যোগাযোগ আছে, HBL পুনে, then Ashtray, FIS, টাটাদের যেটা হচ্ছে স্টার্টআপ, ওদের সাথেও আমাদের যোগাযোগ আছে। And first remote incubation center আমরা সেট আপ করেছিলাম শ্রীনগর, কাশ্মীর, ঝাবুয়া, Madhya Pradesh, and now it is in also Chhattisgarh. Okay, and these are my heroes. So he is Yogesh. Yogesh is in Delhi, and he set up a venture called Event Cargo, where he is changing the idea of the gender space. So he is a cargo service by the women. So all the women, they do the lot of courier services and cargo services. This is three students. They set up Sampurn Art. It's a solid waste management practice and the biogas plants they installing along with the BRC scientists. So they also got a lot of prizes, social venture award from California also they got, and also TBS ban. Sandeep is in Madhya Pradesh, who is working on education. So for the tribal youth, he is connecting with the different bigger institution after 12, and also he started agricultural college also in his place. And these three girls are working on the life skill of the education system with the government schools, because now these days private schools lot of inputs but not the government schools. So they are targeting, it is a low cost provision for the government schools, and if private schools approach them, they take the money at reasonable rate for their module. And he is also a cancer survivor, our student, and he started a lot of facilitation for the early stage cancer patient to a lot of time when you are go for cancer treatment, you need second thought, you need third thought. So he has a pools of doctors where he connected them to the doctors for the taking the second opinion or third opinion. So, and also there are several I think implements which cancer patients are required. He is a connector, so that they can access those markets very easily, because when in a family cancer happens, it's a very sad moment, and then family members, they don't know what to do. So this is a one point service center kind of thing. So this is all about, and I quoted few because I know that time is limited all the time. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, so much. Your speeches enlightened us how to begin with a startup. Actually, we, the teachers who are here today, we may not in the position to start an idea with a startup. But my beloved students, it is a time of yours. It's India is a time of youth. It is your time. As Pam has said, we can explore ourselves. We can explore ourselves, and we can start startup ideas and make India brighten and ourselves brighten. আমার মনে হয় তোমরা সবাই ম্যাডামের স্পিচে বুঝতে পেরেছো যে কিভাবে আমরা আইডিয়াসটাই মেইন, অন্য কিছু বেরিয়ারি না, আইডিয়াসটা মেইন। আমরা যদি আইডিয়া বের করতে পারি, then we can explore, we can do anything. There is nothing undone. And how we can do? There are so many of mentors are there. They can help us. There are so many institutions that can help us. Even this Mumbai from Madam, she can also help us, give you, can guide you. So most of you are the 6 semesters. So after the graduation, you may be thinking, what is going to master degree, or you are graduate, you are enough to get a job. So instead of getting a job, you create a job. You think the idea, begin it today. There's so many of ideas. Your mind is full of energy, so you can do this thing. Thank you, ma'am, for enlightening us so much and bearing the pain to coming from far away from Mumbai, and you be making our occasion so successful today. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we our technical session, but before that, I think we must have a tea break. So let us take a tea and then we'll start our technical session. In the meantime, the presenters, please send all your papers in that given tea break. Okay? So I'll please have a tea break.
কোড, বাড়িতে যে ঢাকা ঢুকা শাড়ি
I may now request our chairperson to take her seat. Ma'am, Shopik ma'am, please take a seat for the second session. And I request Dr. Dipon Ghosh as rapporteur of this session from RS Girls College to take his seat as rapporteur. I may now request Sweetie and Zafura to felicitate our rapporteur with a tutorial. So let us start our session. And it's over to you, ma'am, for the technical sessions. Abhishek Das.
Abhishek Dev.
Diploma Sujay. Shubham Amita.
So, all the presenters, you need to take 7 minutes for presentation and then followed by 2-3 minutes about question answer if there is any question. So the first presenter I would like to call upon Bina Datta, Department of Political Science, Assam University student. And her paper is Entrepreneurship Paving the Way for Women Empowerment, a Study of Northeast India. Okay. Second is Arnab Datta Chaudhary, research scholar, Department of Economics, AUS, and his topic is what influences India startup ecosystem and econometric investigation using state level panel data.
Hello. A very good morning to everybody, respected chairperson, respected reporter, dear scholars, and dear student friends. Well, I'm Arnab Datta Chaudhary, Doctor Research Scholar, Department of Economics. Well, in the full paper, there is a little modification in the title that I would like to report to the chairperson. The whole story remains the same. The main idea of changing the title because we want to give even more clear-cut focus that on our study. So our study title goes like this: explaining interstate disparities in startup initiative across India and empirical exploration using state level panel data. This is a joint paper done with my supervisor, Ritik Mazumdar, Professor, Department of Economics, Assam University, Silchar. Well, getting the status of developed economy, it's basically every other nation, and now it's been more than 100 years that we have not got any developed economy status around the globe. Now, in this context, like for getting any state, any economy for its development, we need self-reliance, capital formation, employment generation, and many more. In this context, entrepreneurship is really a great tool where we can utilize our young age population, and here the startups comes into the picture. Startups are all those new companies coming with the innovative ideas using high-tech technologies, and they are the drive towards innovation, create wealth. But we should keep in mind that startups are risky, and even then they are also an engine of growth. As per the data, DIPPD data, the registered number of startups that are recorded in 2016 were 452. That increased up to more than 84,000 in 2022, and now we are the world's third largest startup ecosystem. But even then, India faces a lot of challenges in the startup initiative in fostering the startup ecosystem, as recognized by the Economic Survey 2023. And according to the Forbes.com data, about 90% of the startups fail globally. So yes, startups are risky. In the review of literature, we have found very less literature in determining that the patterns that what determines the startup ecosystem in the world. Here we present few literatures that we have came across. These are some Indian studies as well as international studies. Starting with Ghani et al., they have done a cross-section study with 20 major states, and evidence suggests that educational level, better quality of physical infrastructure enhances the startup initiative. And in the similar line, Verit, Hager, and Ostrich 2014 made another study, and here also they have found the importance of infrastructure in startup. Likewise, Joshi, Jagannathan et al., Lu et al., and many more have found that yes, quality of infrastructure and with the skill and along with some other state level characteristics helps to fostering the startup ecosystem of any region or any nation or any country that we speak of. Here, the main objective of our paper is to bring out the regional inequalities in startup initiative across the Indian state, and we wanted to explain the socio-economic causes that keeps the inequality in the states, and finally to provide a policy framework to promote new entrepreneurship in the form of startup across the country. The data sources are basically secondary, and these are collected from these sources that are shown in the screen. In the methodology, we have done through graphical exploration, ordinary correlation, and panel regression. Our study work is 5 years given the data point, data availability 2018 to 2022. We have made a balanced panel with 34 states, and we have 170 pooled observations. These are the variables that are used in our analysis. Now, just look at this picture, and similar kind of picture Upam has also showed us today, like where incubation centers are located. And here, see how unequal startups are located. These are all mainly located in the urban areas because these are the special economic zone, attracts more financial resources. They attract high-tech goods and high-tech technology. So main focus point goes to the urban areas only, while all other regions get left out. Even though we have gone through a sharp increase in the startup that coming from the economic times, June 12, 2020, 2022, but then again, the spread is higher in the urban areas only, where Maharashtra being the number one. This is a correlation table that helps us to detect the variables that we may omit for tackle the multicollinearity problem. Here, the startup goes positively and associated with the PCNSDP urban skill, which is an index, and services share infrastructure, which is made up of, which is also an index. We did it with per capita availability of electricity, total roads, and broadband and internet connections. FDI and SaaS, these are the technological proxies because we assume through various international literatures that we find that FDIs and SaaS are mainly at the focal point of the technological centers. Where we find the FDIs are higher, we definitely get that in those areas are technologically, like you see, Hyderabad attracts more FDI compared to Karimganj, Northeast, or any other, because of the simple fact that's a high-tech city, and that will definitely attract more and more FDIs. Now, directly going to the regression table, here we have used a dynamic panel regression where a one period lag dependent variable used in order to tackle the serial autocorrelation. All the variables are really significant and showed expected signs, and we are able to express like 93-94% variations in the startup, and our models do not suffer from any first order serial autocorrelation as we have very high Darwin-Watson values. Those are very close to 2. The key findings is that the startup initiative are significantly and positively determined when the levels of skill and economic development infrastructure with other core infrastructure factors are controlled for. Skill is really significantly and positively associated with urban and infrastructure. As you can see in the last 2 columns, where we have used a interaction variable, log urban times skill and infra times skill, log PCNSDP times skill. This means that other things being unchanged, when skill increases, there is an increase in the startup initiative also. Now, finally, the key finding that in our exercise, the startup initiative require favorable economic environment that includes infrastructure, industrialization, urbanization, and yes, the skill. The conclusion, the vital conclusion is that entrepreneurship initiatives in the availability of industrially skilled, trained, and empowered is needed. Since urbanization and industrialization and economic development are very unequal across Indian states, we conclude that unequal distribution of startup initiative has rudely and deeply embedded into the regional inequalities in economic development and skill formation also. The key policy lesson here is that startup gets too much concentrated into the developed and urban areas until and unless the backward agricultural states give them some push, we cannot remove the regional disparity. From the development perspective, too much technology and investment concentration in certain locations would aggravate the regional inequality. These are the things we need to address. The possible extension is that the dependent variable, here we have taken in our presentation the number of startup. We would like to take startup annual revenue or startup capital so that we can analyze how successful the startup is. Every year there are some startups are failing, they are closing. Now we need to have an index or an estimate of all those startups that are closing by so that we can stop that and we can increase the entrepreneurial activity. And this can result a very vital policy lesson in the further studies. This paper does not consider any product decomposition, like if we say the IT is more dominant than manufacturing is ignored or any food sector is ignored. So these kind of exercises we like to do in our further study. These are the references. And here we would like to acknowledge Paranta Basu, Professor Macroeconomics, Durham University, for his immense technical and theoretical and methodological support. And our work is still in progress. With your suggestions will help us to improve. Thank you.
Any question? Question from students, teachers, fellow scholars? No question? I have a question. What is your dataset source? You calculated, but what is the basic dataset? It is the secondary data, right? So what is the source of data?
I have got it from ASI, DIPT, publications, RBI, and indiastat.com.
Okay. So you mentioned that
Yeah.
there is no mention resource muted of this, or I missed it. And okay, if it is there, it's okay, no problem. And okay, and also I insist you to look at the GEM reports. There sometimes they also publish some of the startups data country wise. So if you can consult, I think that would be nice. Okay, thank you. No problem.
So, Arnav, it's a very good paper. It's a very technical paper indeed. And I have learned some of things from your paper. So that's why I would like to congratulate you. Some clarifications actually. It's very technical paper. Number one is what are your findings basically? If you can explain it more lucidly to us. What are basically your findings? How FDI affected your startups? And what is the, then skill, how you measured skill then in your study? So, and how SEZ, that is affect, what variables, how did your, findings basically, and justification of the findings?
Thank you, sir, for your valuable comments. So the first thing I'd like to tell about the skill. The skill, it is basically we have made an index This is coming from AICT data, which is coming. We have made three types of variable way enrolled, total enrolled, past and place, and then we have scaled them into 0 to 1 scaling formula through the HDI type, and then we make the index by giving equal weights to everybody. FDI and SAS is the total turnover rupees in terms of crore, the SAS turnovers. Now we believe that when there is a concentration of special economic zone in the state, or if the state attracts more and more FDI, that state is generally a technologically developed state. Because without technology being developed in the state, it will not never attract FDI. Assam cannot attract FDI. Hyderabad, Mumbai can, and they are doing. This is a proven fact. And then in various other literatures that are published globally that we have came across, they have also came to through various methodological point that yes, those areas are technologically developed, infrastructurally developed. They are the finally the breeding centers of the entrepreneurs. Like they attract more FDI, there is more concentration of. So simply what is said, high tech areas in short, and where various economic activities are going on. Now we cannot expect like a backward state having less infrastructure, less technology, less skill. Uh, in our finding, we have found that those areas where SAS and MPS and there happens to be yes, SEZ positively, yeah, positively affects. Yes.
So it's wonderful paper. Now next is Tarulata Pegu, Assistant Professor, Department of English, and offline presentation. Spoken English as a medium of earning as well as learning, with special reference to Northeast India. Over to you. Seven minutes.
A very warm good morning, respected chairperson, reporter, my colleagues, and student friends. So my name is Tarulata Pegu, and as you see, the title of my paper is Spoken English as a Medium of Earning as well as Learning, with special reference to Northeast India. So moving on directly to the objective of my paper, the paper has set the following objectives. Firstly, it is to explore how institutions of spoken English serve the larger interests of the people by becoming a means of earning as well as learning. The second objective is to throw a light on such institutions that are making their way as small-scale startups and their shortcomings. So I have used secondary sources like textbook for the study, and it is based on analytical study. And I have consulted research articles, scholarly research article, and internet sources for my paper. And it is the significance of the study. It will analyze how the small startup play a role in the overall economic development of a region, as well as it will try to draw out its future prospects. So, moving on to the introduction. So, human beings are considered to be one of the most intelligent animals on this planet. So, why it is so? Because they have this unique capability of expressing their own thoughts, and unlike other animals. Okay, so through the medium of speech, they express their thoughts and emotions. Therefore, it is necessary to learn this art of speaking properly to make ourselves explicable or understandable to others. The principle of this art of speaking are given by great personalities like Aristotle since ancient Greece, and also Aristotle has wrote two major critical works. One of them is named Rhetorics, which deals with the art of speaking. So in modern times, there are books that deal with the art of speaking and writing persuasively. However, there is more inclination to learn communication or spoken English in coaching centers. Why? Because they promises to give us theoretical as well as practical classes. So therefore, not only in Northeast India, but throughout the non-native speaking countries, the demand for spoken English is great. So Northeast India comprising of seven sisters and a brother state is not lagging behind. It is not lagging behind to provide the demand of the modern era. So what does this modern era demands? The era demands everyone to keep themselves updated with the new things coming up at a very fast speed. So this is what Charles Darwin calls in his Survival of the Fittest in his book Origin of Species, where he claims that only those who are most intellectual species they can adapt and they can survive, and others are bound to perish. So these concepts brought a new dawn in every aspect, and this can be fitted to human life in general. So therefore, everybody must strive. To grow intellectually and spiritually every day. So, learning English is nowadays seen as a part and parcel of our life as it has acquired the position of a standard English, a standard language that is understandable by the whole community. So, for example, we see that many of the parents they know about the universal value of the spoken English, and they would like to admit their child to an English medium schools. And but even after that, they do not know how to communicate properly. So not to talk about the schools that are communicating in regional languages. So this has become a problem. And as a solution to this, special institutions for training in spoken English are established. So they serve learners on the one hand and form a kind of business startup for the others. A group of efficient and enthusiastic people run such institutions, creating employment for themselves and for others. So, along with other aspects in the name of development, the importance of spoken English has touched Northeast India too. So, in this globalized world, English as a language dominates the scenario. For example, what hinders our rural people to come out there and have a decent job in the cities? It is because of one of the reasons is because of their inability to communicate in English. But the demand of the national and multinational companies are they must know English properly. They should be fluent in speaking. So, in spite of having good grades, academic grades and scores, they are debarred from having jobs in such companies. So, in Northeast India, English is seen as a connecting language with so many different tribes and more than hundreds of dialects. They require a common language that is understandable to all. So, not to talk about different states, but people from the same state do not understand each other's language. However, there are instances of places that can be seen as a, can be brought back to the unity. This can be seen, this language barrier can actually be seen as a, barrier to the unity of the people. Okay. There is a huge Okay. There is a huge scope of well-developed tourism in Northeast India that is yet to explore. So the scope of English learners and affluent speakers is very much there. If one is capable of speaking fluently and persuasively, they can earn a living by it. So sensing the importance of English, almost all the major cities of Northeast India are now emphasizing on opening up centers to train in spoken English. So they are providing a good scope and playing a part in the economic development and financial stability as they generate employment for themselves as well as for the learners. So to conclude, the adversities that one might face are the quality assurance of this small-scale startup. So one must train themselves properly so that one can impart to others the art of speaking English. So that is the only way where the youth and the citizens can be fluent in speaking English and they can boost up their confidence. Thank you.
question? Attack her. You are supposed to ask some question. So I just want to know, because you whatever you are doing archival kind of study, right? So in that sense also you have to talk about your data set. You are talking about the findings, but what is your data set? Which books you are considering for your study? Which website you are considering for your study? Those are your.
Yeah, this is my full paper, ma'am.
Okay.
So I have seen these websites where SEBA has introduced www.seba.com. In case of Assam, so they are imposing on the imparting knowledge in English, and they are introducing this mobile apps through which the students can log in and learn the art of speaking English. And so I have consulted that and also other scholarly journals that talks about how English is influencing or how English is necessary in case of the Northeast India.
Okay. Okay.
I have mentioned it.
Thank you. Sir, okay. So next is Veena Datta, student, Department of Political Science, Assam University. Is it has not come ready? Okay. That's fine. Refresh the one. The 7 minutes.
Good morning, everyone present here. My name is Meena Datta, and I am a student of Department of Political Science, Assam University. So today my topic is
Can you please listen to
entrepreneurship paving the way for women empowerment, a study of Northeast India. So women constitute approximately half of the world population, and this is the case in India also. But despite this fact, women's participation in economic activities is very low compared to men. The main factor restricting women in participating economic activities is mainly the social setup, which consider women as homemaker or child bearer, whereas the responsibility of bread earning lies in the shoulders of despite that, women also nowadays women are going older, informed, educated, and they are showing their entrepreneurial skills. It's estimated that approximately 10% of the total number of entrepreneurs of India comprise of women entrepreneurs with an annual increase in the percentage. The women of Northeast India are also the women of Northeast India are also playing an important role in the entrepreneurial activity. So the main objective of my study is to examine the status of women entrepreneurship in Northeast India and to study the various areas and nature of women businesses in this region and the various problems and challenges faced by them in their way. So before starting, the women entrepreneurs is the women or the group of women who initiate, organize, and operate a business enterprise. A women entrepreneur is the confident, creative, and innovative women desiring economic independence and they are simultaneously creating employment opportunities for others. In modern days, women are playing very important role in the business, and their role is also supported by various government schemes such as the Northeastern Development Finance Corporation, Women Entrepreneurial Development Scheme, etc. The major landmark in this way is the initiative taken by the Ministry of Medium, Micro, and Small Enterprises. Then the initiative is named as TRADE, that is Trade Related Entrepreneurship Assistance and Development, which provides up to 30% of the project cost to the non-government organization that promotes women entrepreneurship in rural Assam. The participation of women has been identified as three major roles. That is, some are the owner of the entrepreneurs and some are the manager of the enterprises, and whereas some are the employees. So the scope of business in Northeast India includes agro-based industries, agroforestries, horticulture, mushroom farming, herbal, medicinal, and aromatic plants. Women in the Northeast India have come forward to take the benefit of the abundant natural resources of Northeast India. Women entrepreneurs work in different sectors such as handloom, handicraft, sericulture, livestock, etc. The major area of their work lies in the handloom and handicrafts activities. Handloom constitute an integral part of the rural population of Northeast region. Carpets of Arunachal Pradesh, Muga silk products of Assam, Lashmi of Manipur, shawls of Nagaland, Mizoram are the well-known products from Northeast India. The production of handloom is the highest in Northeast region of the country. The major handicrafts work includes basket work, cane furniture, mats, wood carving, terracotta, etc. And women in these sectors are the major role player. In their way of entrepreneurial activities, women face a number of problems. There is for a region like Northeast India, which is industrially and economically backward, the major problem for entrepreneurs become the problem of finance. Women entrepreneurs also suffer from this problem as they are not much well aware about the various initiatives and schemes taken by the government. Borrowing money from bank becomes impossible for the illiterate women. In such case, they depend on village money lenders who charge a unfair interest rate. Women also face a tough competition in the market from organized sectors as well as male counterparts for marketing their products. And the most important challenge they face is the lack of education. Women are illiterate and ignorant of various technologies and business and market trends. Therefore, they face various problems. Another problem is the scarcity of raw materials and their rising price. So, certain measures can be taken by the government to empower the women in entrepreneurial activities, such as ensuring equal treatment at the workplace, improving the position of the women in society, creating various training programs for women, making them educate, and providing them with various financial facilities. So, with this, I would like to conclude.
Question to her? No question? about the women entrepreneurs in Northeast. And when you are talking about that there should be equal treatment, if the women are running the business, who will give them the equal treatment?
And in the workplace, ma'am, women are not getting equal treatment in their home itself because there are in home itself they are not given the equal treatment.
So then the education, women require the education or the others require the education?
First of all, women require the education because they have to.
See in on the ground that how many schemes you are required, or is there anything needed for those schemes to see in the practice? Schemes are there.
There is a need of connecting these schemes to the women who are actually needy. There is
So you entrepreneurs in Northeast. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable time. Thank you.
Not question, some, if you properly show.
Yeah.
Because there are some protocols in it. Yeah. So basically, the paper area is very, very good. And I think it is unexplored also. Unexplored area. And research is, to my knowledge, that research is not all about perception. It is about evidence. So what is there in the perception of the society, it is not the research. You have to validate your statement with data and reason. This is evidence based. Number one. Number two is that in Northeast India, it's a huge area you have taken. That women entrepreneurship. According to my study, that the status of women in Northeast India, especially the tribal society, is compared to other states. Is female work participation rate as an indicator of female work participation rate in Northeast India is quite higher than other states. So one of my papers are published in this area. Then it's a paradox I found that in many studies also that if education was an indicator of women emancipation, then without the lack of women, lack of education in the tribal society, because it's matriarchal society. No, not patriarchal society. So education is not is a determinant here. And you said the finance. So, madam, in your lecture, that the finance is not a problem. It's a problem. Idea solving and all these things. Finance will come. So these are the new dimensions are coming in. So we have to come out of the earlier perception and earlier studies. That's what I am telling you. Okay.
Sir, okay, sir. I will take that. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Next presenter is Kingshuk Chakraborty, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, Vilasipara College. And his topic is Growth of Rural Business and Sustainability, a study. So, Kingshuk.
Good afternoon, Chairperson and Honorable Chair. I'm Chandra Jaji, presenter of this study. Our topic is growth of rural business and sustainability study. So our abstract is written. Go next. Introduction. This study was done for 2020 and 21, and it is believed that the empowerment is a term which is closely associated with the society, and our study is deeply associated with the sustainable socio-economic development of any region depends on the human empowerment. But unfortunately, it is viewed that typically a society is the word empowerment is associated with male empowerment, and our study is wholly focused on the empowerment done for the female section, and our study goes with the minority section of the entrepreneurs, minority section of the women entrepreneurs of the Dhubri district of Vilasipara of Dhubri district. Background of this study closely associated with the minority women are represented the poorest section of the society. Poor minority girls have less access to food, education, health, healthcare than boys. Hence, they may face poverty more severely than men. Degradation have a more adverse impact on women's work than men's. Given farmers' responsibility to fetch fuel and water, leading to reduced health status of the female section. Gender-specific process, for example, given unequal inheritance rights, earning opportunities, and returns to labor, education, etc., are the core basics of the study. Next. The goal objective was the prime objective of the study is to assess the empowerment process of the minority women with the help of sustainable livelihood. The research hypothesis is that empowerment process
chosen purposely these two villages, and we have identified 14 villages from Lakhipur block and 8 villages from Rajabajar block. And out of them, we have surveyed two-thirds of this population, that is 9 villages from Lakhipur block and 5 villages from Rajabajar block, and ultimately we have 335 households which have been surveyed. And this is a picture I have taken during my survey. And for analyzing the profitability, I have used and computed gross margin, which is the difference between total revenue and total cost. But I have used only total variable cost because they follow traditional, natural and organic method of cultivation, and the use of equipment and machines is very minimum and negligible. So we have used only total variable cost, which constitute labor cost, both hired and own labor, then sucker cost, sucker of pineapple, and ultimately transportation or carrying charge. And this is, there should be equation. Okay. Okay, and for analyzing the constraint faced by the pineapple growers, I have used Kendall's coefficient of concordance, which is basically a rank correlation coefficient. And before that, I have also used to understand the determinants or influence, determination factors that influence the profitability of the pineapple growers. I have used simply multiple linear regression model. And these are simple descriptive statistics. Okay, so here there are some empirical analysis of the profitability, and before that there is a mean total revenue is 3,31,484, and if I see the cost structure, cost component, the main component, the broad component of the cost is the own labor, and secondly is the hired labor. So technically I can say the cost of labor is the major component they incur, and then sucker cost and transportation cost. And this is the frequency distribution of the profitability. And if we focus, 43.2, near about 43% of the growers are facing losses, whereas 32%, near about 33% of the growers having 1 lakh to 5 lakh of profitability, and this is the profitability per hectare. Okay, and the mean profitability is 60,159 rupees. Then next, this is a picture which shows a graph which shows the mean gross margin or mean profitability of the villages. And if I want to mention that this, okay, well, this first 9 villages are from Rajabajar Lakhipur block, and these 5 villages are from Rajabajar block. And it is clearly visible that the mean average, mean profitability of the Lakhipur block are having positive profitability, and remaining villages all from Rajabajar block are facing losses. Next. And here is my factors that influence profitability and farming experience. Then access to extension services and use of mobile phone in accessing price and market information are having significantly influence on the profitability positively. Next, so here is the discussion. Okay, so I already mentioned that Kendall's W have been used to analyze the difficulties faced by the growers. It is usually the ranking of the difficulties faced by the growers, and it is seen that the coefficient is 0.626, which means that the ranking of the difficulties faced by the growers is moderately similar, and it is seen that absence of storage facilities is the most of the farmers ranked it first, and then second is absence of processing unit. They earlier used to have a processing unit, but it is destroyed by fire in 1986, and then after they do not have any processing unit which might help them to grow their income, to increase their income. Then third is lack of extension services. The problem is that they get extension services, but they only get the sucker. Very minimum percent of growers are having the extension services besides suckers like training and logistic services, etc. Then hired labor and rising cost. Of course, earlier I showed that the cost of labor is the major component, and labor higher labor and rising cost is a problem because nowadays most of the labor from the villages migrated to urban areas and there is shortage of labor and the labor cost within the village is rising and because they need labor for the entire day, free time of cleaning and during harvesting for cutting the pineapple. And then fruit perishability, of course, because storage is not there. And then transportation facilities, because if you see the location of the villages, these are very remote. Even for reaching to the main road and the market, they have to walk miles from those dense forests. Then price fluctuation. Oh, sorry, limited access to, of course, export market. Previous slide. The limited access to export market, then price fluctuations, then inadequate water supply, climate change, high cost harvesting losses, then lack of technical knowledge, disease, pest.
1 minute to wind up.
Yes. Lack of training program, involvement of middlemen. So these are the problems which are ranked and by the pineapple growers. And the most major problems are these 6 problems. Okay, then lastly, conclusion. Okay. To conclude, the pineapple from Kachar district's Lakipur subdivision is well liked and well known for its being sweet and juicy, and it contains 60 to 80% of sugar, which is the highest in entire Northeast. Pineapple cultivation is pivotal to socio-economic well-being of these indigenous tribal growers in the remote and hilly regions, especially Mar community who mostly grow this pineapple. Its future appears bright due to rising increased consumption of the pineapple and its export potential. It can potentially increase the district's revenue by expanding local industries and increasing income from growers involved in its production. The findings may be helpful to the authority or the government in developing future policies. It is suggested that the steps should be taken not only to attract new growers, but also services should be provided so that they stay in the business. Growers involved in the production and export of pineapples should be given various incentives and subsidies. The emphasis should be given on selling rather than just producing it. And ICT can help with this, as we have seen that it has significant impact. Authorities must ensure that Lakipur's pineapple meet premium standard by awarding them quality accreditation, which is allow them to reach the and compete in larger market. This is another problem. Being so sweet and juicy and being so popular, they don't have any quality accreditation from any authority. And incubation, of course, also help as per the today's discussion. And to conclude, the development of agriculture, infrastructure, and marketing facilities allows Lakipur's cultivators to increase their income and standard of living while also contribute to the district's overall economic growth. Kalam Talu, thank you. This is my language.
Any question to her? No? It's a very good work, and I think you need to little more structure it for the publication. And one comment, don't be so nervous. Whatever you have done, none of them understand or did, right? So you are the sole owner of your work. Don't be too so nervous. You are okay. Yeah? And finish PhD quickly.
Actually, I am unable to restrict myself to speak. Number one, there is a difference between assignment presentation and the seminar presentation. Your paper and your work is very, very good. Very good, number one. And you are not here to satisfy someone. You are just, present your findings and all these things. You need no need to satisfy your audience and all these things, your students and all these things. This is not an assignment presentation in your class. You are a research scholar. It's a research work. It's a national seminar. So these all the things very important to know. Number one. So regarding your paper, so far as my knowledge goes and studies, there are some works in this area. There is pineapple cultivation in Lakipur subdivision in NIT Silchar. Professor Gurudas Das and Dr. Ujjwal Das and all these people, they made extensive studies. I think they published some of their papers and works in this area. That it is a huge scope is there. It's some, I think, some different qualities is there in of this pineapple in this area in locality, and their study is something like that: how to, export the pineapples of this area to Southeast Asian countries in the perspective of look at this policy. So this is a very interesting studies, and prospect is also there. So this study is very good. So statistically, and as Madam said, you have to structure someone, and it is not that in one paper you include everything. So these are my observations. Okay.
So on the topic and the subject, all credit goes to my friend, Dr. Shagari Kande. I have just completed and doing my PhD, but the entire guidance I have taken from her.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Now we go for Kushumananda Nath, guest lecturer, Department of Economics.
He will be presenting online, but he is not present now. Let us finish it off with the offline.
No, he is offline.
Offline it is written here, but he will present online.
And now we don't have any
Offline.
Eh?
Samir
Samir Goswami, PhD scholar AUS. Yeah, his topic is trade and extent of entrepreneurship among college-going students of Shilchar. Okay. What's your name?
My name is Joyce Das.
Okay.
Mistakenly, it's not written.
Okay. This guy. So 7 minutes. Respected teachers seated over here, my seniors and mates, a very good afternoon to you all. My name is Jayashree Das and he is Samir Goswami. We both are the scholar of economics department at Assam University, Silchar. Title of our topic is spread and extent of entrepreneurship among college-going students of Silchar. Now coming to the introduction part. As you know, entrepreneurship is the process of creating and managing a business venture in order to achieve a specific goal. Nowadays, entrepreneurship has become a critical aspect of economic growth and its importance has been recognized worldwide. Now coming to the title of our paper, that is spread and extent of entrepreneurship among college-going students. It means the privilege and scope of entrepreneurial activities among the students who are pursuing their higher education. In our study, we have taken samples for 5 prominent colleges of Silchar. There is UC College, Kashmir College, Ramanujita College, Omnis College, and Radhamandir College. Now coming to the significance part, our study is significant because it gives us insight of first of all identification of the potential of entrepreneur, that is students who have interest in startup and have the potential to become a successful entrepreneur in the future. Contributing to the economy by studying our paper, one can spread an extent of entrepreneurship among the college-based students. Policymaker can identify areas where entrepreneurship can be nurtured. Third one is understanding and impact of education, and fourth one is enhancing education, and fifth one is promoting innovation. Now coming to the objective of our paper. Now there are 4 objectives in our paper. First of all, in our first objective, we study the spread and entrepreneurship among the college-based students, and second objective is to study the attitude towards entrepreneurship among the service students. Third objective is to analyze the barrier to the advancement of student entrepreneurship, and fourth objective is to study the motivation to start run a business. And in our here we have shown a brief introductory review of the previous existing paper, which were helpful in our paper.
So as it is a very localized topic, we have collected primary data using purposes and so we have collected data from 5 of the colleges, different degree colleges of Silchar. And to reach to our findings, we have used various tables which are not included in this PPT, but they are included in the finance table. So, according to our first objective, out of the total survey students, only 3.9% of them showed entrepreneurial activities, which is very sad to see. As we know that as the economy is moving from the traditional models of growth, entrepreneurship is finding a very new place in itself. But as this place is very isolated from the mainstream media, 3.9% of our total respondents show entrepreneurial activities, but that doesn't mean that other students are not having alternative income. Non-entrepreneurs are also having their potential sources of income, which includes freelancing, teaching, internship, etc. And their the transfer income are also a major determinant of the income earned by the non-entrepreneurs. Previously. Okay, so out of the survey students, 68.3% of those unemployed students are actually willing to start their own venture, whereas 31.4% are not willing to. When questioned about whether they are aware of the various schemes that are there to provide assistance to their startups or entrepreneurial ideas, near about 65% of them they were aware that there are schemes available with us through which we can get various help to join to start our own startups. And whenever they were questioned about the barriers, lack of funding, lack of mentorship, no knowledge on how to operate business, and one thing is missing here, lack of familiar support. This background lacks familiar support when it comes to entrepreneurship journey. And whenever they are asked about the motivation, most of their response were that entrepreneurship will give them exponential growth of income, it will make them independent, and the third reason for joining entrepreneurship according to that is that there is lack of job opportunities in this area. And out of the our findings also suggested that out of the 3.9% in these entrepreneurs, 9.4% of them are also employing others in their venture. So at the very earliest, it is very good to see that out of the very small number of entrepreneurs, some of them are also providing employment to the other people. So this studies is nothing, it is based on the motivation, engagement, and challenges faced by students pursuing entrepreneurship. And the recommendations from our studies will be that to encourage the finance cooperative research, to establish policy programs, to provide students who express, to provide incentives to students who express to join entrepreneurship, and the most important thing is that as most of the students spend a huge amount of their time in the college campuses, it is very much important on the part of the college authority to organize some events, business events, and to promote such entrepreneurial activities among them. Next slide. So, but our studies also got some limitations. It is based on very limited sample size. There is account for self-report bias. It lacks depth analysis, and in certain cases we might have missed certain important variables which are also determining when it comes to their entrepreneurial activities in behavior.
Questions? Budding entrepreneurs? No questions to them? Yeah? So, only thing is, what is your survey total number?
It is about 180.
180. Not very small in terms of entrepreneurship per se. I think when you are talking about the trade, you need to break it into different trades. And there are a lot of trade theories also. You can take those theory and then from there you can create the variables to test it. Okay. Other things are okay. No problem. Sir. Okay. Now we have online presentations.
No one is present.
That Mommy Gogoi I have seen her.
She is not present now.
And so many. And then there Kushumanandana.
Yeah, I called him also. Not responding.
Deepam
Not
Jyoti.
responding.
So then can we ask the sir to present about your report or whatever you want to say, some comments? Okay, okay. ठीक है. So we can end the session here.
Yeah, so thank you, all of you have patience of listening, and there is a really lot of work PhD scholars have done and teachers have done, so wonderful, and thank you all.
Thank you, our respected chairperson, our respected reporter and presenters. Now I request our respected sir, Jolin sir, to give vote of thanks. And after the vote of thanks, he will give one memento to our chairperson.
Thank you, Susita ma'am. Respected chairperson of this technical session, Ms. Guha ma'am, my esteemed colleague, the paper presenters, my beloved students. On behalf of the Organizing Committee, Department of Commerce and Department of Economics, in this particular session, both of the participants, I offer my vote of thanks. I especially offer my vote of thanks to ma'am, that ma'am has conducted this session very beautifully, and ma'am also interacted with the paper presenters. And I'm sure from this particular technical sessions, our participants, our students will be immensely benefited. So with this, once again, I offer my vote of thanks to all of you. Thank you.
Now I request sir to hand over the memento to our respected chairperson.
Before handing over this moment to ma'am, a few minutes back, I was listening to ma'am. A really so wonderful paper presented here. Actually, ma'am has a vast experience in the field of this particular area. And while I was interacting with ma'am in this research common room, and there also I really myself realized that how ma'am is working. Ma'am is not working like we people, that we are doing some secondary data and we are preparing some theoretical paper, or not like that. Really, ma'am is doing some very wonderful job in this line. And ma'am is working in slum area also in Mumbai, the metros of this country, what we call it, commercial capital of this country. So we are very much hopeful that in coming year, whenever we will invite ma'am will really respond to our call. And with this, now I have to offer, hand it over this memento to our supporting government. Then please. You honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. So after this technical session one, now we are going to start our technical session two within 5 minutes. have amongst us Professor Joydeep Goswami. Estedas Das was also the former principal of Karimganj College. In this session, we have Professor Joydeep Goswami amongst us, who will speak first on startups. His topic is startups, how to matter for youth. We are eagerly waiting to hear from him. Now I request Professor Joydeep Goswami sir to take his seat on the dais. I may now request Sri Atul Dole, Sri Atul Dole to introduce Joydeep Goswami sir amongst the August gathering. Come over here.
Good morning, everyone. Respected chairperson, teaching staffs, and your my dear students. First of all, I'd like to welcome Dr. Joydeep Goswami, sir, for the second session of today's three-day national seminar on startup business, a way towards economic development of Northeast India, organized by Department of Economics and Department of Commerce, Karimganj College, under the aegis of IQAC. Dr. Joydeep Goswami sir is a controller of examination Assam Downtown. Dr. Joydeep Goswami sir is the controller of examination Assam Downtown University. He was the dean examination of GIMS from March 19, 2014 to January 16, 2021. He was an associate professor of Ira Business School, New Delhi from 6 May 2010 to March 18, 2014. Prior to that, he was a senior lecturer and head of the Department of Economics, Karimganj College, Karimganj, Assam from August 1996 to February 2007. He was a lecturer in Department of Economics, SR College, Kaleng, Assam from January 1994 to August 1996. He was a lecturer in the Department of Economics and Commerce of Grade 11 College, Shillong from August 1993 to July 1994. He was also a lecturer of BSSAU College, Shillong from February 1992 to January 1994. His professional synopsis includes a wide range starting from demonstrated abilities in research, particularly social research, primary data collection, supervision, training and report writing, besides hand-on experience working with large data set, experience in areas such as statistical analysis, business analysis, and market research. He has worked extensively on projects regarding Human Development Report in NCAER, sponsored by University of Maryland, USA. Conversant with the concept and access over Microsoft Office and working with statistical packages like SPSS and Stata. Teaching economics with particular reference to business economics, statistics, operation research, and research methodology. Proven record of teaching in papers of tourism management, entrepreneurship, and environmental economics. Proven ability with academic administration, being a member of various committees, in charge of games and sport, program officer, SS cell, member of governing body in enhancing the all-round development of organization. He has extensively worked in examination system and is well conversant with the examination rules. He is actively associated with research activities and in his account, number of publications in the forms of books, journals, etc. in number of reputed publishers. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit. I may now request Hema Alorika, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, to felicitate our today's resource person with an Uttorio, kit, and a token of gift. It's now your yes.
Thank you. I have been introduced with so many of the things, but still I think I am এখনো আমি ভাবি যে আমি করিমগঞ্জেরই প্রফেসর। বেশ কিছু স্টুডেন্টস তো আমার স্টুডেন্টসরা সব নতুন স্টুডেন্ট আমার এখন যারা পড়াচ্ছে কলেজে there are so many of my students like Dipon. He is teaching in RS College. Shutrika is also my student during my stay. I thank the organizer to invite me to give a talk on this topic, on this seminar. Yesterday in the seminar or in the inaugural session, many of them thanked or congratulated the organizer, and I do the same to take this topic as a subject of this seminar, the startup business, and particularly for the northeastern region. Now, let us talk something about this startup. I have particularly chosen the topic, the startup and the youth. How does it matter to the youth? In most of the speeches you have seen that startups means for youth only. Most of them are unemployed, so to solve the unemployment problem, we can have a startup which can greatly solve the unemployment problem. This is what is the crux of the seminar that comes up. But this is not the only part of the startup. Solving the unemployment is one of the part, but there are so many other things which the startup can do. Now, as you know, India is a dynamic country, versatility. We have some geniuses that were born in India, starting from Aryabhatta till, and there are so many great people with all intellectual minds. There are so many people that come across in contributing to the society. There were so many problems. Yesterday we have seen from MPB sir, in his lecture he mentioned about the Indian economy from the British rule to the present day. We have seen the people in the genius mind, they have lot to contribute and they have contributed. What is the crux of this contribution? Is that they all have started from the very low level. We have some business magnates in the India like Infosys, Bitcoin, and all these things, Biocon. You find they all have started from a very meager level. They did not have money, neither they had other means. What they had is only ideas. That is what is more important, the ideas. Now they are the business managers. If you study Indian economy, you will find when we got our independence, Government of India had the industrial policy. 1948 industrial policy, most successful is 1956 industrial policy. we have established industries in India. When India got its independence in 1947, there were only two large-scale industries in India. One was jute industry and one was railway industry. And there was no industry. When we had our new economic policy in 1992, by that time, India had almost 400 large-scale industries. And they were all needed to develop the country. Yesterday, MPB sir has said, we had a golden era in India since 1980s to 2014, 15, 16. Or you can say just before the COVID that has started. How this growth was possible, more than 6% growth, how it was possible? Because of the visionary of our leaders. After this government has taken over in 2014, there were many steps that has been taken and the growth rate has almost touched to 8-9%. Industrial growth was almost 9-10%. We had a setback of lockdown because of the COVID, and hence we started thinking about different ways. In 2015, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his speech has emphasized for startup to see a new beginning in the Indian economic system. And that has come into force from 16th January 2015. And now 16th January is considered as the National Startup Day. It has been observed as National Startup Day. Now, you will not find so many things in the slides of this day. So, what we find, India is the thriving, under-penetrated consumer driving market. It is so huge. The consumer market is so huge in the country, it has not been penetrated yet. Secondly, internet penetration and its increasing importance drives most of the business now. It is. It was not there earlier. During the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, we did not have any internet facility. Now, every one of us can do anything. At least mobile phone is in our pocket, and we can have access to anything now. India offers the largest pie of investment opportunity. That is another important thing. There are so many. Most of the countries are looking to India now to invest their resources. There are huge scope of investment in the country. There is a popular saying, start small, start somewhere. I'm coming to all this thing. Start small, start somewhere. That was the crux of the startup business. Start small, don't think too much. Start somewhere, at least we can start somewhere. There are too many successful startups we have. What we had before, earlier, like to go out, no car, no means of transport, you have to take the rickshaw, reaching a taxi stand or a bus stand, take the bus, go somewhere. Now, only you have to use the app for Ola or Uber. Within 5 minutes, Ola or Uber is at your door. The transportation has become so easy. It was talked, it was said yesterday. Sending money, you need not have to go to the bank. I can never go to bank now. I don't use internet banking. I use Google Pay and the Paytm. Only Paytm and the Google Pay I have been using. They are so successful startup in India. For everything. I am staying in Guwahati, my family stays in Delhi. I have to send them money with the Paytm, I just transfer the money. Or I just transfer the money through my wife's Paytm number. She can use the Paytm. Or even from her account, she can withdraw the money also. That is what the startup has made our life. It is becoming more easy now. India is home to the world's largest youth population. Another very important thing, world's largest youth population. According to United Nations, there are 1.2 billion youth in the world who are between 10 to 24, and who are youth? According to the definition in India, who are youth? Youth, those people, the population who is between the age of 55 years of age, they are considered to be the youth. So 1.2 billion youth, and out of this, around 356 million youth in India. It is also considered India is one of the youngest countries in the world. It was said yesterday also. Average age of Indian is 29 years now. Who can take the risk? Who can take the business? So, 29 years, most of the countries in the East, suppose Japan, average age is almost 40 years now. South Korea, 36, 37 years. USA, around 40, they are going to 40 years, average age. When the age increases, the productivity, the human productivity decreases. Very well said that, and that is well proved here. But in India, we have time, yes. It was also said that by 2047, Indian population is going to be stagnant. The growth rate is going to be stagnant. And from that time, India will also be aging. So for that, we have to take some steps. How we can move with this population. So this is already said, the government of India on 16 January 2016 coined Startup India. The program was believed to contribute in two things: sustainable economic growth, a constant economic growth, which we will see after 20 years also, and create large-scale, multi-dimensional employment opportunities. This does not create the direct employment, rather it also creates indirect employment. So many indirect employment is also being created. One startup, I don't know, it is going to I don't know, Swiggy. What is the requirement for Swiggy? No education qualification. Only person who has a bike and he can ride a bike with a valid license, he can be employed in this sector. The Swiggy. At home, at the comfort of our home, within 30 to 40 minutes, we get our eatables. And we can enjoy that. We need not have to go to the restaurant. Swiggy is one of the best examples of this startup. Very successful startup. Era of 1970s and thereafter till the last decade. Indian manufacturing startups dominated in the 70s and 80s. I was telling you their establishment of the large-scale industries in India, and all these manufacturing setups were dominated in that. Mostly supported through seed capital and soft loans. If they are successful, they are in the market. If they are not successful, they are gone. Several companies were beneficiaries of this ecosystem, and Reliance, Biocon, Infosys are some of the best examples we have. BFI supported predominantly through loans, earned healthy returns when a company did well, and when a company doesn't do well, they are gone. Subsequent economic liberalization in mid-90s, we did not have a startup economic system. If you study the 1990 industrial policy, new economic policy, you will not find the mention of startups. We have licensing policy, we have other policies, but there was no mention of the startups. They were still thinking of establishing large and medium scale industry. The policy has come to establish small scale industry, which predominantly dominated in the northeast, the small scale industry or the medium scale. But other part of the country, we have a large scale industries. And they are mostly the source of large scale employment. Rebirth of startups. Past decade has shown, the past decade means after 2001, that is the 21st century. Strong root in tech related areas. These startups mostly have a strong root in the tech related areas. Many strong entrepreneurs in India had dived business opportunities and tested their ideas. The most beautiful brains has come to open the startups. That took the opportunities, most of them were successful. Most stayed aloft even after COVID-19 turbulence. That is very important. Startups, most of them startups did not die during rather, many of the startups has come up during this COVID period. One such example is PharmEasy. I don't know whether you have heard. PharmEasy is a online medicinal distribution company. People were not allowed to go out. So how to order the medicines? These were the apps, these were the startups that has come up. Significant deal between companies in India, startup, even after opening the startup also, there were mergers of these startups, like Walmart and the Flipkart, having Myntra and the PhonePe. They are all the mergers. In the recent times, within 2-3 years, they all have done. 197 Communication, that is Paytm, Ola Cabs, Dream11, one of the best startups who are interested in the sports. And this company is doing very good, Dream11. Particularly, this is the IPL season. You can find, everyone can play Dream11. And Dream11 is one of the most successful companies in India. Swiggy, Razorpay are few of the rich valued Indian startups. And they are not only concentrated in India, rather they have spread out throughout the world in different other countries. Impact of startups. What is the impact of startups? Number one is more jobs. Now, the serious problem in India is the unemployment. And every government is thinking about the unemployment problem. And with every passing out of our graduates, another thing I forgot to tell you, 90% of our Indian youth are literate now. 90%. Though the literacy level is around 80% in India, but among the youth, out of this 356 million, 90% are literate. I had an opportunity to conduct a survey about the reading habits of the Indian youths in India. You will be surprised to know that Indian youth are still interested in reading, whatever is the move. Most of them has done away with the books, but the best thing is the mobile phone. Mobile phone, newspaper reading through mobile phones, books, even the class notes, everything on the mobile phones. They read something. They read other than the academic books. Most of the youth, around 60% youth, read either it is any type of fiction or non-fiction. They read. But today, just before that, we are discussing, you will surprised to know that expenditure on education in Indian household is lower than what the average Indian spend on pan, gutka, and tobacco. This is what is the crux of the Indian household. So we are giving less importance. So need not have to go to all other sides. Let us concentrate ourselves on the startups. More jobs. Because of the unemployment, startup helps. Yesterday it was said, don't be job seekers, rather job creators. One startup, there are huge creation of employment. Directly, indirectly, both employment are created. Secondly is creative ideas create more. Whoever comes for the start of the startups, they only come with an ideas. There are creation. Every successful startup you see, there were some ideas among them. Because these ideas were being materialized. It is said, yesterday it was said, many of the startups doing business in a small room at the comfort of their house. Many of the things you will find these are not startups. Reels, most of my young students will know Reels in the Facebook. These are not startups. YouTube videos, making YouTube videos, yes, small type of money. These are old things that garner the days. Not very simple. Some of them are successful, but not everybody can become successful in the YouTube. These are not the startups. So, creative ideas. You have to create your ideas. Create solution easily. Will have more demand for the products. Any ideas? Startups create a competition. Yesterday, Bedgurwa sir was saying, India after independence was working as a protected economy. The protection was there again. USA and all these countries, they have liberalized long ago, but they have again come back to protection. But in India, we had a protected economy. Because of the protective economy, competition was not there. New economic policy in 1990s has created the scope of competition. Now with the startups, there are competition. Another point is talent explosion. Because startup are being done by the young minds, talented minds, with different ideas. Talent explosion is there with the startup. Improve work culture. Boss is not the boss. He is the friend. You are your own boss. Your partner, your worker, your friends, they are your partners. That creative work culture. Startup is never successful if you become a boss. So that is how we can say one of the advantages is improved work culture. New technology that cut off production cost. In every startup, you will find production cost is much less. If I land in Delhi, every time I go to Delhi, land from the aircraft, come out, I go for a taxi to reach my home, they charge at least 15 to 1600 rupees in 1 week. If I see my apps, look for Ola, they charges only 900 to 1000 rupees. Production cost is much lesser. Cost is much lesser. Most outsourcing of services. Indian startup has grown up. Many of the manufacturing companies around the world are giving works to these startups. So outsourcing has become a mantra of the day. Inflow of foreign money, foreign currency is coming to the country. New investment opportunities, changes in the face of the town or cities. Another important thing, many of the manufacturing units that has come up were concentrated to tier 1 cities. But because of the startup, we are coming to that, because of the startup, they are mostly growing in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So changes in the phase, because it makes, whenever there is a startup, there is automatic increase in the level of income and the standard of living. When the standard of living increases, that is the basic fundamentals of the economy. When the standard of living increases, that means increases the per capita income. When per capita income increases, what happens? The national income increases. National income increases, that means that creates more demand. So this is how it is changing the face of the town or the city. And most importantly, most of the startups are self-sustainable. Don't need help of others. Don't need direct help of the government support. So self-sustainability is one of the most important things for the startup. Now coming back to the youth. As I said, United Nations says 1.2 billion youth in the world. The formula for quick progress in a developing country is the energy and youthfulness. If youthfulness and energy is there, you can develop, because these are the people who will work for the country. And automatically, there is a quick progress. Every second person in India is a youth now. Every second person. If you say 10 to 35 years of age, every second person. It is a big advantage for the Indian, for India. India, as estimated, will be the youngest country in the world, surpassing China by 24, that is the next year. And it is almost done it. It is the youngest country. 14 Indian companies have joined the Unicorn Club between January and June 22. Within 6 months, 14 Indian companies, 14 Indian startups. What is Unicorn? It has been explained yesterday that those companies which have more than $1 billion investment, they are the unicorn. So almost 14 Indian companies are doing business with more than $1 billion investment. Global Entrepreneurship Monitor affirmed that India has the biggest 55% early stage entrepreneurial activity. In India, startup is coming up in a very big way. And in the process, around 55% of them are in early entrepreneurial activity. And more surprisingly, these all 55% are being owned by the youth. What startup means to the youth? The young people. Youth have a pivotal role, exceptional opportunities startup. For the youth, India startup in India is an opportunity. It is an opportunity. If you grab the opportunity, every youth has an opportunity. It is a platform to do something. It is a challenge because there is competition. It is a challenge. It is a learning and growth hub. Every day when you engage in a startup, every day there is a learning and the growth process. It is an aid. It helps you increasing your standard of living, increasing the level of employment. It is an aid and it is an example. It is an example for the youth. This is what Startup India means to the youth. I'm purposefully done it like this. That means you and you. For the young people, it is because it is an opportunity, it is a platform, it is a challenge, it is learning and our growth hub, it is an aid and it is an example for the Indian youth. Top Indian startup, you can see here from top, I have just taken top 10. The CRAD, owner is Kunal Shah, headquartered. If you see the last column here, all tier 1 cities, most successful startups. CRAD, Vernacular, Formizi, Digit Insurance, Meisho, Grow, Nika, Uran, Dream 11, Swiggy. The headquarters is all these, they are the founders, these people. Why they are unique? Because they have got an excellent ideas. And these excellent ideas were put into work. Then, lastly, I will come to that. What should be the quality for the youth when they take up a startup? I will come last. Successful startup India, never give up. Besides this 10, there are some successful startups. They are not unicorn companies, but they are doing very good. Never give up. Started in 2016 by friends Naman Gupta and Vishal Kenneth. Never give up. Never Give Up started in 2016 by friends Naman Gupta and Vishal Kenneth. It is a Noida-based code enterprises. Never Give Up. And they operate in 20 states in India. It is the country's first company that focuses on why I have taken this. What they do, you know, they collect cigarette butts. After smoking the cigarette, the birds, the people throw, they collect the cigarette butts. And what they do, they recycle these birds, and from these birds, they make cushions, they make the gifts, they make other things which are doing very good in the Indian market. This is one of the startup which is doing very unique ideas. These two friends, they thought what to do after the graduation. They started cigarette butts. And we never think that cigarette butts are also be helpful to have a startup. Secondly, pursue your passion. It was opened by a women entrepreneur, Vandana Vijay. And you know, Vandana Vijay was working with Facebook. Chose to leave her job at the age of 30. started Offbeat Tracks. Her company focuses on experiential and sustainable travel across India. They help. If you Offbeat Tracks, if you contact them, they will plan your travels across the country. Third is Charter Unknown Territories. This was opened by two graduates named Vandya and Rekha, shared a love for all things vintage and handmade goods. Together, they set up Ishma, their company name, with a mission to revive dying crafts. The crafts, they are engaged in reviving the dying crafts. Another one is Read by Ayan Bhattacharya. Get inspired by, like many other teenagers, he was fascinated by foreign brands. Reading about artisans, weaver, and their meager income, he sought to do something for them. And you know, when Ayan Bhattacharya took up this initiative, he was only 17 years old. And decided to take action and started Artisan, Artisan. He is given the name of his company, which market artisanal clothing. He has taken. Fresh Pet Club. It was opened in August 2020, offering good quality of fruits, dry fruits, exotic vegetable, and organic spices. So these two friends, they were graduated from Goa Institute of Management, and they have opened a startup which deals in good quality of fruits, dry fruits, and spices. The list can go on, of course, as numerous startups are doing very well in the country. To name a few, Flipkart, Big Basket. Heard Big Basket is? I don't like Big Basket, don't mind, because I had a very bad experience with the Big Basket. Ola Cabs. That is why I prefer the most. First Cry, Cure Fit. These are the startups. If we name them, the list goes on. They are doing very good in the market. Now, this is interesting. Startups are by women in India. Now, NSSO data reveals only 14% of the businesses in India are run by the women entrepreneurs. 58% of this 14%, 58% of the female entrepreneurs were in the age group of 20 to 30. So, with the introduction of this startup, the women are taking up these startup jobs in the recent years. When they started out, they were only 20 to 30. Nearly 73% of these women report a revenue of approximately 10 lakhs in a financial year. They earn almost 10 lakhs. This is not yet in a position to reach to the unicorn, but this is the contribution of the women. About 57% of these women started out solo, individual, not taking the help of anyone. Yesterday, Assistant Commissioner Karimal District was saying that his sister consulted him about opening a achar. The same way, almost 57% of the women started out solo, without any other member, and about 35% of women had a co-founder. they started up with someone else. Roughly 71% of the Indian female entrepreneurs employ 5 people or less. Very, very small startups, 5 people or less. So this is what is the picture of the Indian women entrepreneurs. Startups. Now coming to the Northeast. That is what is our seminar concept, Northeast. DPIIT has registered 674 startups from the states of Northeastern region. Mostly they have 674 startups in the Northeastern region. Out of these 674, almost 74% of the startup has originated in the state of Assam. I'll just give you the data from here. Arunachal Pradesh, there are 8 startups. Assam 499 startups. Manipur 68 startup. Meghalaya 17 startup. Mizoram 6 startup. Nagaland 21. Sikkim 8 and Tripura 47 startups. So this is the distribution of the 674 startups. About 40% of the startups in the Northeast are owned and started by young women entrepreneurs. Out of the 674, 40% of them are young women entrepreneurs. And real challenge for all the startups in the country is to sustain the entrepreneurial ability. Most of them doesn't sustain their entrepreneurial ability. They fail. They just give up. But what is the important that you have to you must have to sustain your entrepreneurial ability. Now, if we talk about the women entrepreneurs, you can see everywhere it is user. One of them is Chandni Khandelwal. At the age of 26 from Odisha, launched her startup EcoLoop, and it was only done last year. Tulja Sharma, a 34-year-old entrepreneur, a mechanical engineer. She started tooling with a loan of 5 lakhs. A victim of domestic abuse and a single mother to a 7-year-old child. She was also thinking about making a suicide. But this startup, the founder, machine tooling business. We don't even think as a mechanical engineer, machine tooling business, the women comes up. But she is the lady who came up with in the machine tooling business. Sucheta Bhandare, founder of Earth Purna, a company that came into existence for wholesome and nutritious snacking options. It was discussed yesterday. Nutritious snack. This Sucheta. Now, another interesting women entrepreneur who made the startup. She was working with as a PR professional based in Bangalore, Suchitra Ullas. She retired from her job at the age of 64. She started her own startup, and that is the startup of Natural Soap Venture, Shaban. And this is a very success with 500 bars sold per month by this lady. So these are some of the successful startups by them. Now we can see the notable startups in the Northeast India. In the Northeast India, My 3D Selfie. It is based in Guwahati. selfie store that is the first to create 3D figure from any type of photo. You click a photo, just give it to him, he will make it as a 3D photo. This is the first startup in the north, the Guwahati based. Another startup is Jijira. And more interestingly, why I have taken only 6 of them, all of them were working outside India. All the startup things, they all were working outside India in the multinational corporations. Came back to India and started their own startup within this last 2-3 years. Jijira is from Meghalaya. He was staying in Canada, came back to India for a vacation, found that in Meghalaya there are many spices available. Meghalaya is famous for spices. He thought that these spices are going waste. He started his own business. Now he is exporting his spices to different countries. Third is Voyage. Voyage, an environment conservation model based in Gangtok. This boy who started up this voyage, he was in USA working for a multinational, he is a computer engineer, came to Sikkim on a vacation, found out that Sikkim is a place of tourists, but the town has become very filthy. He took up the job of cleaning the city. And the first area he took up in Sikkim is the military base, where he has done 100% cleaning of this military station. Now he is expanding his base. Today, many NGOs, many governments are funding his project. Next is Runaway Nagaland. This is platform for local artisans in Kohima offering handmade products using indigenous techniques and design. We know that Naga Chadar, one of the very famous throughout India. But these are not being marketed. There are other designs which are in the handloom sector that is available in those states. This is a boy out here, Runaway Nagaland. He opened his startup and he has been marketing the indigenous product from the Nagaland, particularly in the handloom sector. Next is Net Venture, an adventure travel firm in Guwahati offering cycling and trekking tours. And this was opened by a lady and a man. I actually don't know whether they are married or a couple, I don't know that. But these two, they were working in a multinational company outside India. They came to Guwahati. They found out that people here were not very comfortable in buying or cycling. So they have opened up their startups for the cycling so that people keep fit in the city. They are Guwahati based, they opened it. Moreover, if you purchase a high-end cycle which costs more than 2-3 lakhs, there are no repairing center in Guwahati. They opened up a kiosk of repairing your cycle, those high-end cycles. And they are providing the service, Net Venture. And the Spoke Hub Cycling, a premium bike service and retail point based in Guwahati, offering spares and accessories. The high-end cycles, if you find any problem, the accessories are not available in this part of the country. They opened up, like NetVenture, they opened up the shops, doing very good in Guwahati. I don't know, Karimganj high-end cycling has taken up. Guwahati it has taken up. Particularly on Saturday and Sunday, you will find almost everyone is out in the morning with their cycles, going to the hill. And Guwahati it has really taken, coming up this craziness of. Now, I was telling you what should be the qualities for the startup. First is intent to solve a problem rather than obsessing over their own innovation. I have got ideas, I make innovation, I made a startup. Don't obsess your innovation. You have to do this. If there are any problems, then you must intend to solve this problem. You have got innovations, you have got ideas, but you have to solve the problem to be a successful entrepreneur or to make a successful startup. Second is the preserves. They are bogged down by lean patches. If a lean patches come and if you are bogged down, you never be a successful startup. So preservance must be there. You must have the courage to face it. And third is, especially of the startup from this part of the world, is their knack at harnessing local resources to resolve the problems. Take up the local resources. Abundance local resources are available in the Northeast. There are potential for growth. We are not using it. Use the local resources. That helps you to bring out a successful startup. These three qualities you must have to have a successful startup. Now, for one of the youngest populous countries in the world, Startup India serves as the platter of courses, platter of resources, programs, network, schemes, and all those necessary guidance and incentives required to unleash entrepreneurial dreams. The startup gives the opportunity to explore the talent, the skills, and experiment on your innovations. The more the youth of this nation, you can seize this opportunity, and the more will be the reach of the skills. So, with that, I end my day. That how youth are benefited in the long run. Only one thing: India is the youngest country. We must reap the benefits of the startup in the future. More importantly, we have abundance of natural resources. Let us utilize these natural resources. Thank you.